Everybody, welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your engineer, Kate, and joining me this week is Brandon.
Hello.
And Kestrel.
Hi.
Kane.
Hello, hello.
And DJ.
Yo.
And we are here to talk about anime, in more specifically the closing out of the spring season of anime and for 2023, and then we will be that's probably going to take up the whole podcast, because that's usually what happens, but we might touch upon what is coming down the pipe for the summer season and anything else people have going on. But first, do we have any news?
Yeah, we got some news. So probably the biggest piece of news that's been going around the past few weeks, it's been 6 years that we've been waiting to hear anything else about the One Piece live action adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe waiting is a strong word, but 6 years that we have not heard anything about it since it was announced, and it had no material or anything. And during Netflix's Tudum thing, where they have all their nerd shows have announcements, they had One Piece announcements, which included that it will be coming out in August, so very soon.
Damn.
Considering how little we've had for the past 6 years. It's a Netflix show, so we'll get the whole thing at once. And with that, they released our first footage of it, which was a full trailer that's like several minutes long. So we get to see what they're going for with that. I have lots of opinions. I don't know how much time we want to spend on it here. I'm sure we can discuss it later.
I mean, we should just discuss it now.
Okay, we can discuss the trailer now, sure. I'll let other people give their thoughts first.
I thought it looked about as good as something like this could look.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, that's pretty. That was like pretty much, I think, a going consensus.
Yeah. No, I still don't think this is a good idea. And obviously, not watching One Piece, but it just knowing what everything looks like in the scale of the show, I just can't feel like this will work out.
Look, Netflix is never going to get to the point where that's going to. They'll get through this season, obviously, because it's all shot and out there. And then they might, if it does okay, which is, I don't know how they could possibly do okay enough to justify the cost, but if it does okay, there might be a second season. I cannot see it getting further than that.
It's just insane to me how much money they've put into it. I get that One Piece is like the biggest anime in the world, but like that does not translate to how well the live action will do and how much they are putting into it. Like, when I saw that an episode costs like double a Game of Thrones episode, I was like, have so much blind faith in this being
not
like
worth
the next
it.
big thing.
Yeah,
no.
Here's the problem. It's like they built boats. They have boats. Anytime you're filming anything with a boat, it costs 3 times what a normal land-based thing would cost. So anytime, that's like why Waterworld was such a big fucking money sink. It's because it was water, and anytime you're shooting involving that much boat action, that's why we never got a second Master Commander movie. It's like boats are hella expensive.
Yeah,
you said both of the movies I was thinking of, so I couldn't. I was like, yeah, Master Commander.
It is wild that they like put that much into building all of these sets for real. Because like with Bebop, it was clearly a lot of real cheap sets, a lot of green screen. And this does look better than that. I still feel like, based on the footage we've seen so far, it still kind of looks cheap and amateurish, which it should not, at the cost of, the most expensive TV series ever.
I feel like some of it's just like a losing battle either way, because going into it, the gum gum fruit powers themselves are just like an uncanny valley for live action that will never look good.
Yeah.
So like stretching people out in live action has never looked good, and it probably never will. So it doesn't really matter how much money it costs.
I think everyone knows by now Mr. Fantastic was in the Doctor Strange movie from last year, and Marvel has more money than God, and it still looked stupid in that. So
but Marvel effects are not top quality, and a lot of it has to do with how they work their VFX departments. They are never the best effects around in a movie because of how they change everything at the last minute and then expect the VFX houses to just follow suit.
I feel like for the most part, MCU movies have pretty solid visual effects.
Sometimes, and then sometimes you get things like the Black Panther fight. So it's like,
I don't know. Doctor Strange was fucking wild looking. That was good.
Yeah, but that was probably a lot of art direction, and it probably didn't they had a stronger art direction going in, so they didn't have to do as much like pull back at the last second. Because for dumb reasons.
Let me just ask a question here. Kate, do you actually watch these movies?
Yeah, some of them.
Because I watch them all on the biggest fucking screen in the country, and they look pretty good. And Doctor Strange looked really good, except for Mr. Fantastic stretching. So I think it basically just coming back to, I agree with Bran that it's kind of a losing battle, and no one has figured it out yet. And that is the main character's entire function. And they limited it to like one big moment, one climax at the end of the trailer, and they like made it dark so you couldn't see that well, and it was only a few seconds. But even that, it was like, wow, that looks like fucking garbage.
I'm also just like so worried to see any character that isn't like a normal humanoid shape.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what any of the fishmans are going to look like, or giants or anything, because it's probably going to be awful.
Yeah. So this season, the big test, I mean, Arlong Park is the big test anyway, because if they don't nail that tone, then the series is bust.
Did they,
there was no Arlong Park in that trailer whatsoever.
Yeah, but it has to, I mean, it's in the season.
There.
Yeah.
I was curious, have they said they're gonna go through Arlong? Like, is that
it's East Blue. They have basically all of the arcs of East Blue mapped out.
It's East Blue in 8 episodes. 8 hour-long episodes.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. Well,
yeah, I think the episode titles are out. Give me 1 second.
They are out there.
Yeah, so we've got our... Oh, maybe they were not...
They released the episode titles, but they didn't release them in the order of broadcast. So everybody was trying to assume what the hell they were, it was. And I think through process of elimination, people kind of figured out what episode was which. But I mean, the first one's obvious because it's the first one is the first title.
Yeah, first one's Romance Dawn, which, I mean, to their credit, they treated that better than Toei. They're actually starting where the manga started, and they're actually giving it the title that the first chapter of the manga, the first volume, and both of the one-shots leading up to it all had, which Toei did not.
Interesting.
Okay, so these are leaked, maybe not 100% final, other than Romance Dawn, but they are Romance Dawn, The Man in the Straw Hat. So that's probably everything pre-Buggy. Tell No Tales is going to be Buggy. The Pirates Are Coming is Usopp. Eat at Baratier is Baratier. And then The Chef and the Chore Boys. So that's going to be 2 episodes for Baratier arc. Girl with a Sawfish Tattoo. So I guess they're doing Arlong in 1, or maybe Arlong spills into the last one, which is worst in the East. So that's got to be maybe the end of Arlong and Logtown.
Okay. Well, good luck, Netflix.
Yeah.
I wonder if what doesn't help this looking cheap and weird is the way Netflix dictates a lot of its content be filmed. I know that it's kind of been an issue before where stuff looks really clean because they use a certain brand of camera and everything is filmed in 4K, like digital. And you can put film grain into stuff if you want, but for the most part, I know I've been in forums where people have kind of complained about that and talked about it, which is like the camera that Netflix uses, albeit being very high quality, produces a very specific type of image, and that can look very clean, and sometimes it can almost take you out of the moment because it's almost like a pseudo soap opera effect deal, like in that same vein.
It looks too much like video.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're in it. It looks like you are watching it, so the immersion can be easily broken by that.
Yeah. I'm expecting some very clean looking pirates, which is going to be kind of sad.
Right. And that's, I think that goes into like, and maybe they just don't have the best like makeup and prosthetics department, aren't putting that much into that. But yeah, it looks too clean. It looks too much like good cosplay still. I don't know if it's possible to make live action One Piece look immersive, because again, it's so far removed from reality that maybe that's just, an impossible task to try to overcome, but it still looks like they're in cosplay.
Well, that'll be a fun moment in time when we all get to groan when that comes out.
When that drops, yeah. We can definitely have...
someone's gonna have to stream it for me on the internet so I can watch it, because I don't.
We'll probably need an episode dedicated to that show. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I will find a way to watch it somehow.
You can like subscribe to services for like a month. You don't have to.
I don't want to give them any money. I'll find a way.
You can always, inherit the pirate way and, sail the seven seas.
It feels appropriate in this context.
Yeah, I'll see how much I get through. I mean, maybe it'll break the curse. It'll be the first one of these that's
how much you get through. Dude, do you know how I try? You want to know how back in the day I tried to tough out the fucking 4Kids version of One Piece, and approximately how far I got before I was all like, get this fucking away from me, this abomination.
I say this because I watched both every episode of the 4Kids dub of One Piece and every episode of the live action Cowboy Bebop. So I certainly have the capacity to put myself through that kind of suffering. Whether or not I will do it again for this, if it is as bad as any of those other things.
It's only 8 hours of your life.
It is, yeah. I don't have as much time anymore. I have things to do now. So things that I would rather be doing than putting myself through that. So if it's like real bad, I might only stick it out for one episode. Maybe it'll be okay and it'll be worth trying to see it through. Maybe I'll like skip around to see if they do Arlong Park justice. Maybe I'll be like, nope, not a chance. We'll see. But we'll check out enough of it to have strong opinions, I'm sure, considering we have strong opinions on the 2 minutes that we got.
Hey, I have strong opinions on things I've never seen before, so...
Yes, we've established that in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, either way, we're coming out changed individuals, so...
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, that's one way to start the news segment.
Yep. I mean, it's been big news in this circle for the past few weeks, so definitely important to talk about. Next piece of news. I think this was actually announced a few years ago, but we finally got an actual date, or I don't know, a year for it. Konosuba Season 3 is finally coming 2024 sometime, so hopefully not October. But yeah, it's coming sometime next year. It is going to be done by Drive, who took over from first Dean and then JC staff. They also did the Konosuba Megami spinoff that just ended. So yeah, more Konosuba.
Around nervously.
Hell yeah, we get Kazuma back.
Hi, Kazuma this.
Feeling it without him.
Yeah, the series desperately needs him and the other girls back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the spinoff a little bit, but even the spinoff wanted those characters back really badly. Also, in the announcements from series ending, Ranking of Kings is getting a new anime film. We don't know anything about it, like if it's the next arc of the manga, if it's more spin-off material that wasn't covered, if it's like completely original content. They said it was an all-new film, which kind of implies not a recap. So that's good at least. But yeah, beyond that, we don't really know anything except it will be a film.
From what I heard, there's not enough content for a second season. So my hopes is that the movie will just cover whatever material is left to be covered.
Yeah,
We'll
that could
see.
make sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Next piece of news, a couple days ago, Discotech had one of their live streams. They're going to have a big panel where they announce a bunch of stuff at Otakon, as they generally do as well. But they had so much material that they had to do an extra one a month before it, since they always go late at their Otakon panels. So this one was not as exciting as some of them, even for me, who generally doesn't have that much interest in most of the stuff that they announce. This one still seemed a little more low-key. But they licensed Lasner, Nanoha Detonation, Aim for the Ace 2. I think they have released Puss in Boots before on DVD, but they're releasing it on a new Blu-ray. Fist of North Star, True Savior OVAs, and the one that probably got the biggest reaction, the live-action Recently My Sister Is Unusual film. Which
holy shit! I was like, wow, oh, this exists, and then I was like, oh my god, you're releasing this.
I had no idea it existed, and boy, that just the trailer that they showed even put the anime to shame. And
that was some Skinamax right there. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it got their Twitch channel like banned. So that's fun.
Amazing.
Yep. So as someone who's not going to buy any of the things they announced, that was definitely the highlight for me. Just how over the top that was.
I should really check out the Aim for the Ace stuff someday.
Yeah.
It seems up my alley, but and I do like old things, so it's got both of those things going for it, which is better than a lot of the shows I end up watching, which have nothing going for them. So, The Wonderful World of Puss in Boots too, the OG.
Yep, the OG, one of Miyazaki's early works, and also the source of Toei's mascot.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, like in a historical kind of
exactly
perspective.
That's one of those things where, like, I'm tempted to get it just for kind of the history of, seeing all of these legends early in their career. But I don't know if I'm gonna actually put down the money for it. I did just watch last night. Appropriately, it arrived literally 5 minutes before Discotech's stream started. The Gunbuster Blu-ray, also known as Aim for the Top, which is inspired by Aim for the Ace in several ways. So that's another one where, like, for the historical context, like Gunbuster itself already has all of this important historical context, as does Nadia, as, precursors to Evangelion and important early works in all of these people's careers. And then, Aim for the Ace is going back a step further for what inspired a lot of elements of that. And, it's a classic Osamu Dezaki series. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting to, like, think about checking all these things out. But I don't know. I feel like some of that stuff, sitting down for a few dozen episodes, can get a little rough.
The Gunbuster is good though, and short, so it's got that go. It's not like you're watching it purely for the historical factor, and then it actually kind of sucks. Gunbuster is still really enjoyable and fun.
It was very good, yes.
It's got next jumping rope and doing jumping jacks in it.
Yeah, and it was interesting watching it. Like, I knew about it from a historical context anyway, but, like, it bears a lot more resemblance to the guys who joined Gainax way after it was made, who are now at Trigger, than the later works of Anno and the crew behind it. But yeah, it Nadia has a lot of good content, and it's very important historically. But the fact that it was 2 cores and then, actually we need more content, and did not at all need that content or want that content or was prepared for that content, hurts it a lot in the long run. Whereas Gunbuster, 6 episodes, very tight, very good.
Yeah, you can basically just watch it as a movie. I kind of wish it was cut that way sometimes. Like someone would do like a special cut that takes out the music except for the beginning and the end, and then you can almost watch it like a movie and see what that flowed like.
You mean like the whole thing, not the actual cut of a movie of it?
Yeah, like the whole, as in like you just take out the individual openings and endings, except for like the first one and the last one, and then you can watch it all in one go and just see what that would feel like. Because I think, together it's only like 6 episodes by 20 minutes or so. So
they're full half-hour episodes, so it's 3 hours of content.
There are longer movies out there.
Oh, for sure.
Let's call it a director's cut.
Yeah.
Is Die Buster like a direct sequel to that, like same staff and everything?
It's got some of the same staff, so like, I don't think Anno was directly involved in Die Buster. Did Tsurumaki do it? Let me see. Yeah, that makes sense. So Tsurumaki was like Anno's protege. He did a lot of work on Gunbuster and other Anno works. And I think Fully Cooley was his first like big thing that he helmed himself. So yeah, he did Die Buster, it looks like.
That's cool.
I just remember that Gunbuster has a movie. It just sucks.
Right. That's why I was like, you mean like the whole thing?
It took me a moment, and then I was like, oh, no wonder I acted like it didn't exist, because it's terrible.
Okay, anyway, last piece of news from today. Well, not today when you're listening to it, but Oshinoko ended today, and we got a 2nd season confirmed, which is not surprising because that show is a big hit.
Yeah, I'm surprising how much of my like normie friends are watching it. That's how you know when something's got that reach. It's like they're like, "Oh, are you watching that Idol anime?" And I was like, which one?"
Loaded question.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yep. So that's what I got for news.
Sweet.
Nice. It's pretty sweet every once in a while having a news section that doesn't include someone's death. So
that's the thing. I literally took off the someone's death thing at the last minute because I was like, this was a few weeks ago, and I feel like I don't have that much to say about her, and we would have never talked about her if she didn't die. But since you brought it up, Hiroe Tsukamoto, sorry, you had to mention it. Hiroe Tsukamoto passed away. She was 62, I think. She was a longtime producer of English dubs. She worked with Genion back in the day and Aniplex more recently. Worked with Bang Zoom a lot. And yes, she's been in the industry for almost like 30 years. So she's produced a lot of the classic English dubs throughout that time.
And as usual, fuck cancer.
Yeah. Is that the reason? I didn't actually see the cause.
I think it was cancer. They said she'd been sick for a while, and the picture I saw had her in a wheelchair, looking a little rough. So,
either way, fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer
for sure.
All right. Well, I think on the resounding fuck cancer note, it's as good as time as any to just move on to talking about this season. We have a good amount of shows, as we all know, that we have in common, and some stuff that is either unique or dropped that I want to hear about. Mainly, I want to hear about the magic finally leaving Birdie Wing for DJ.
Couldn't do it anymore, man.
Hey, you made it halfway. You made it halfway through.
I gave it the old college try, but it got bad for even fucking Birdie Wing standards, and that's saying a lot.
Right, I was going to say, this is halfway through the sequel to the thing that you've been shitting on for the past year.
Yeah, like, the the difference between Birdie Wing now and Birdie Wing then is that Birdie Wing then was kind of like a The Room type situation where it was
Ooh, good.
really
Nice.
bad, but still entertaining because of how bad it was. It just got to a point where it wasn't entertaining anymore. It was just flat out bad. And like it got 50 times more serious. And that just made it even worse because it thought it had a plot and it didn't. But yeah, fuck Birdie Wing. I'm glad to be done with it. And I want to distance myself from this property. And I even had I had to remove just the an anime grade from it because that it wasn't even funny anymore. I had to just give it an F and just move on.
Wow.
It's, yeah. And even the fucking open, they didn't change the opening. I should have known from the very start that it was doomed to fail. Destined to fail.
Shout out to The Room. It hit 20 years yesterday.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And everything else Tommy Wiseau has made has been on Birdie Wing status since.
Can't wait.
Everything Greg Sestero has made, though, has been good. His movie Best Friends, which is just him and Tommy Wiseau, is genuinely a good movie. Like, I don't know how he found a role that Tommy was able to actually play, but it worked. It's not an anime, though, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I want it's a good parallel that you made just in general because the second season is probably the way you describe it reminds me of stuff Tommy Wiseau did after The Room, where it's like the novelty goes away and then he's intentionally trying to make stuff that's really bad.
Yeah.
So the sincerity is gone because at least Birdie Wing, even though it was shitty in the first season, it still had like, I don't know, they didn't know if it didn't feel like they knew they were making something bad. It was just they were making a thing. It desperately wanted to be taken seriously, but it was so bad that it was like a comedy.
It felt like a low budget, like early 2000s YouTube fan anime that somebody put together with just zero animation quality and no writing. And it was just a mess. It was so bad.
I think the directors on that show were aiming for camp without no understanding what camp is.
See, I don't know because there are some definitely attempted to be dramatic and overstep its like boundaries about what a show about golf should do, but not in any way, shape, or form constructively. Where it's like, oh, mob stuff and things about homelessness and about
the show that started off with the lady was like, I have to save these orphans. No, that's self-aware. I'm sorry.
It takes it so seriously.
Yeah, I don't think
that's
so.
The thing. And the entire the second season is just this whole subplot of the one girl finding out that she's actually the sister of the other girl, and it became like soap opera level shit. And just the way I can't. It's hard to even describe because it's done so poorly. But it's and you'll be watching something that's clearly a bad soap opera, right? And when something is that bad and written that poorly, you'll be able to predict everything that happens next. You can do that in Birdie Wing, but you can do it in a way that's not fun at all. It's just always apparent where the story is going, and it's always going in such a dumb direction that there's really no need to keep watching it because it's not unexpected by any means. It's just fucking stupidity all over the place that is coming, and it's just not, it doesn't look good, it doesn't sound good, and the characters are stupid and just a bad show. And golf's not exciting in anime form, I guess. Like I like golf as I'll play Tiger Woods PGA Tour for fucking hours, but you can't do like a shonen battle anime with golf is what I've learned. It doesn't work.
No,
at least it doesn't work with this.
Not in that form. That's not no.
There's one that I know of that was called Dando from like the early 2000s, and that one's halfway decent, but it follows a much more standard shonen sort of storyline where it's a tournament anime for the most part. So it doesn't.
Give me like a Blue Lock style golf anime. Like that shit I think could work. But if it's just like two girls just competing in golf competitions and then like evading the mafia on the side, Why? No.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to hear about what happened. That it wore off.
It became even more Birdie Wing than it already was, and that was too much.
From now on, I propose that if there are other shows that are F, you just put Birdie Wing in the parentheses.
I might do that.
All right, so Birdie Wing versus Pop Team Epic, which is worse?
Pop Team Epic. Pop Team Epic first.
Bad.
Yeah.
I knew
Pop
you were
Team
going to
Epic
say
is
that, and I
worse.
knew Brand was going to react that way, and
Yeah.
that's why I prompted it.
No
I would
way,
still
dude.
rather watch Birdie Wing over Pop Team Epic because Birdie Wing doesn't actively annoy me. It's just horrible. Watching Pop Team Epic actually makes me mad.
Hey, well, I'm glad it can elicit a reaction out of you because it sounds
Yeah,
like Birdie
it
Wing
did
really
something.
couldn't even do that.
Like the whole purpose of art is to make people feel a certain way, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the way they intended, but it's a way.
Oh man, you just had to do that, Kess. You had to do it.
It's too bad we don't have any like Birdie Wing stands here. Like if we had Skylar here, all I see on Twitter every week is Skylar just raving about how great Birdie Wing is. And
Skylar is out of his fucking mind.
I'm like, I see that from a lot
There's
of people.
no way anyone can watch this and take it any amount of seriously.
Like, maybe you're taking it too seriously. Maybe that's the problem. Like, I feel like from other people's reactions I've seen,
There are so many parts in every single episode of Birdie Wing that I want to clip and just post on the internet because it's all done so poorly. It's the most dramatic shit possible at the worst times possible, and it's just it feels like it's made by fans. It doesn't feel like a professionally produced show.
Mm.
Maybe
I can't
people
wait.
liked it ironically for so long that now they like it unironically and they
It's
don't
gotta
even
be that.
realize.
Like that's
possible.
I really think that that's what it has to be. Because as an actual show, if you sit there and you watch Birdie Wing objectively, just grading it as an anime, you won't like it. It's not good. It's not good in any regard.
Like, maybe more than half of ANN staff are like in love with Birdie Wing. I haven't seen a second of either season, but it's just fascinating to see the dichotomy.
Fucking God. It's
Yeah, that is a fucking mystery. That's an Ancient Aliens level mystery.
What's it got on like Mal? I feel like it scores pretty highly. Let's see.
it was
Wing
like
season
decently high on
2.
Mal too.
People are
Season
broken.
2, 7.7.
That's fucking dumb.
Very high rank.
That's
That
pretty
is
good.
it should be a 3. And this is coming from someone who has like 700 shows on Mal with an average rating of like 7.9. I grade high. Fuck this show.
Did you say 7.7? What's Vinland Saga?
Probably
Vinland Saga is
6.9.
extremely high. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I was gonna fucking pop a blood vessel if it was Vinland Saga's at like 7.8.
No,
then
Vinland
that
Saga
would
is
be
like
Birdie-
8.9 or something. Don't worry.
the top rated review though on the Birdie Wing season 2 is they gave it a 10. So
Man.
there seems
The
to be
best sports anime ever. Okay, yeah, probably some
No.
trolls in here.
Like,
no.
I
No.
am of the opinion that you're allowed to like whatever you want to like. Like
Unless
that's
it's
fine.
Birdie Wing.
There are exceptions to that.
Look, you can like bad media.
Yeah.
It's okay. Everybody likes some bad media. But you gotta admit it's bad.
If these people are willing to admit that Birdie Wing is a shit show, but they like it anyway because they have fun with it, cool. I like that. But if you think for a second that it's an actual good anime, fuck you. No, it's not. It's so bad.
See, what I was expecting to see, I went into the stats on Mal to see the breakdown of ratings. What I was expecting to see, based on the dichotomy we were talking about, is mostly 1s and 10s. Instead, it's mostly 8s and 7s and 9s, which is like your average rating distribution for a pretty good show, that would come out to a 7.7. Almost
I don't
no
know how
ones.
that is happening.
Almost no ones. 2% are ones.
Maybe it's just because, like, I don't know, it attracted a certain demographic or something. That's all I can think of. Because if the average just anime viewer were to watch this show, they would see immediately how laughably poor it is.
They found a gold mine of golf-loving weebs.
Apparently. How many members does this have? 25,000 golf-loving weebs. How many does the first one have? 56,729 golf-loving weebs on Mal, apparently.
The whitest boys you know.
Can't wait to put Birdie Wing in the thumbnail.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about it for like fucking half an hour.
I feel like Birdie Wing is like the mascot anime of our podcast.
It really might be. I can't think of a show that we talk about more.
It's got more longevity than anything, that's for sure.
I feel a little bit better now because every sports anime that I like has a higher score. So
That's good.
I'm just like, oh, there is still justice in this world.
Yeah.
All right, I'm very satisfied by that. So,
Like, all is right in the world. Okay, we can move on.
yeah, we can move on.
You've got to fire me up before we do the rest of the show. I see how it is.
Well, you were just at the beginning. You were gung ho. You're like, I'm gonna continue watching this, and then I see it on the drop
I
list.
tried, man. I really did. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't good for my health.
That's fair.
All right, we can move on then. I don't know if anybody had anything they really wanted to talk about in particular. I mean, I wanted to discuss the last episode of Vinland Saga in particular.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like, what the fuck?
What do you mean, what the fuck?
I don't get it. It didn't feel like the end. The penultimate episode felt like the end, and the actual ending episode felt like just a continuation, and then it just ends the season on that. And I don't know. I felt like,
I mean, you got the end of the arc in the previous episode, and this is kind of the epilogue, right?
yeah, which I guess maybe I'm just not used to. Like, I'm used to it being the end of the arc, and then like that episode would start the next one, where they would
I think they were giving
make it home. So it's like I had an emotional high in the penultimate episode, and I was like, "Oh, was incredible, amazing! What an end to the season!" And then there's another episode the next week, and I just felt like flat about it because of how great an ending the penultimate episode had compared to the like very welcome to see. Let me be clear, but the sort of whiplash of like comedy feel goody stuff that was happening.
Mhm.
So it just kind of caught me in a very weird mindset because of that, to the point that I was like, did something happen in production that we like pushed an episode before we should have, and now we're watching it, we can't take it back?
I think that's just a thing that a lot of production groups will do to just drum up whatever's coming next for a series. Because I've seen that a bunch of times where the penultimate episode is fantastic and it resolves everything. And then there's just like another episode after that's extra shit, like an epilogue type thing. And that's kind of how I viewed the last episode of Vinland Saga season 2. And
I had to go back and look at the manga because I was like, wait a minute, there's a couple of things here. And yeah, they rearranged things a tiny bit because there were a couple events that were actually shown before that are definitely part of the next arc. So it firmly is technically the next arc, but they wanted to use it as a bookend to all the shit that happened.
Like, I think like the labeling of it as the last episode throws people off. Where if it was labeled as like an OVA or something like that, which wouldn't be accurate, it would elicit a different reaction from the people who watch the show, because it's not literally like cited as the last episode of the season.
Yeah, it's a good episode. It felt so weird watching it because we got the the inspirational-esque quotes with the the stuff at the end of the last episode, the boats going away. That whole thing has a lot of really nice closure, and then it felt just weird and flat going into it because I was like emotionally exhausted at the end of the penultimate, and I was like, incredible. But I don't know what you could do to fix that other than label it an OVA, but then that would be weird too. Like no perfect solution other than just not showing that and ending it on the previous episode. But
yeah, I mean, I think certainly the previous episodes, the penultimate episode in particular, are the highs of the season. Great climax, great closure to the storyline at hand that needs to be wrapped up for you to not feel like you're missing out on the ending. But I think an epilogue is valuable, and I think that for a few reasons, Thorfinn's earned this. Like Thorfinn needs his win. He needs finally, after everything he's done throughout the series, especially throughout this season, throughout this arc. Yeah, that's great that arc is wrapped up, and that's great for all those other people. And Thorfinn as a person, has his goals in mind. But to finally come back home and have that, reunion, I think that's very valuable and a good reward for everything that he's been through. So I think it's good to get it now, and I think it could go either way. Like, the staff certainly wants to make a third season. It's not a particularly popular anime in Japan, so the hope is that the Western audience is you weren't on last episode, but at Anime Central, they had some of the Vinland Saga staff there, and they had a panel about it. They premiered an episode and did a live drawing and stuff. And they talked about how, season 2 was basically just made for the Western audience because the Western audience was way bigger into season 1 than the Japanese audience was.
Interesting.
So that's why, they specifically told all of the musical artists that they could only use English for all the lyrics because they wanted it to be, as Western friendly as possible. So that's why that's the case in the second season. But anyway, so they want to make another season, a third season. That's going to depend a lot on the Western audience, which it would be preferable if the Japanese audience was as into it. Then it would have a much better shot. But if they do get a second season, or let me put it this way. If they don't get a second season, then we needed to see this, right? If it never gets any more anime, God forbid, we need to see Thorfinn's reunion, his journey home. So it's good that we have that at least. And either way, to put that out there and to end the season with something that's teasing what's to come, that gives people more incentive to be like, we really need another season of this. We need to see where this goes.
And
so
it is kind of setting up the mood of what the next arc will be.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking of it as think of the last episode as eating the piece of ginger after eating a bunch of sushi.
Yeah,
and, palate cleanser, it resets it, and like Kate just said, it's the next arc is a different mood than this one that we just had, so it's kind of easing you into it.
Yeah,
and it makes me think. They could have done that with the first to second season as well if they really wanted to, where the last episode of the first season could have been them being and now Thorfinn's a slave, cliffhanger.
Well, they did. What? Well, at the end of the first season, they did tease Einar. They did tease a character hasn't even shown up yet.
That's true.
So we did see them both at the end of the first season. Actually, I was really surprised they didn't tease the other character again. The turn flying through the air was a bit of an allusion to it, but they didn't
doesn't mean anything if you haven't read the manga, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the first season, did more of a straightforward, this is the stopping point, but that's a real stopping point. So And
That was
I
a
mean,
hard
it's
stop.
literally called the end of the prologue. Like, you can't just have more after that, like one more episode after that. It is a very strong stopping point. So I knew from the moment it got an anime announced, I knew the frame they were going to end that first season on. There's no question there. It had to be that chapter. It had to be titled the same thing, because ending or being 24 episodes into a series, however many volumes into a series, and seeing the title, the end of the prologue, you know shit's going to go down. And ending a season on that is perfect.
Yeah, I think it was like the exact end of the 4th volume or whatever. At least the big versions.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
I think that's a strong caveat to make what you said earlier, Kestrel, is that if we don't get another season or whatever, that it's good to see that. Because if we did get one, then the idea of it being an epilogue doesn't mean a whole lot to me personally, because it's like, oh, we're getting that in the next season. But if we don't, then yeah, we have it. Because as an epilogue, I don't know, I guess I didn't care a whole lot, in that to me the show's amazing, so why wouldn't it get a 3rd season in which we will see all of this and we'll see him have his win, and you can spend the end of the penultimate episode as like, he's going home, I can't wait to see him go home, it's going to be amazing when he gets there and everything. And I didn't need to see it that like next week. But yeah, there's a chance it doesn't get any more, and then we would have never seen it, which happens to anime all the time. So yeah, that is a strong caveat to put in there that I do agree with. Because yeah, it would have sucked to never see that. Granted, you could just read the manga and see it, but because there's more story there.
And like, a couple of things on that. Like, I feel like when you're at the point where you're saying it doesn't matter because I'm going right into the 3rd season anyway, well, then seasons don't really matter either.
Yeah, and at that point, it's just gonna, if somebody's like binging this years down the line, it's gonna flow right directly into the next season, and it's not gonna seem weird.
And then also, I still feel like even though it is setting up for the next arc and is in more of the tone of that arc, it does still feel like, a closure, a resolution, more than the beginning of a story. So I still feel like it would feel weirder as the first episode of a season in that regard, because, it does wrap up a lot of emotional character threads, and then the next, the actual first episode of season 3, if we get it, can be like, all right, now we're really like starting on this path, and it can kick off in earnest. So I still feel like it works better as a season finale than a season premiere. But yeah, I mean, certainly compared to the first season where the ending was very much the end of the story at hand, and that was not the case this one. Yeah, it's less of an impactful ending this time for that reason. It's true.
But I do like seeing.
I think if you binge it in the future, it wouldn't matter necessarily, because you wouldn't even know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then what? I guess I'm not understanding what you mean by seasons don't matter.
Because
if that's the case, then no, I guess I don't think they matter.
Yeah, because you were saying like my point about the epilogue and like getting this bit of closure was only valid when there's not a new season. But I'm saying, sure, but when there's a new season, it doesn't matter where this season ended anyway, because you can just go straight through.
Right. Okay. Then, sure.
I mean, it's fine. Like, yeah, I think we all loved all of the content of it, and we all agree that the arc proper and the ending of the arc proper and the highlight was in the penultimate episode, and contrasting the first season, that was all in the actual finale. So this one, yeah, definitely has a little bit of tonal whiplash comparatively when you get to the finale, and that's all fair.
I mean, Yova kicking Thorfinn into the wall, knocking
just a little bit, yeah.
Her actually being the strongest character.
Yeah. Yeah, remembering that Vinland Saga has gags after all we've been through over the past 6 months is kind of wild.
Real. in the world where we wouldn't have gotten a season 3, which isn't this world, not this timeline, we're gonna get it. It does, but when you framed it like that, it kind of reminds me of the final episode of Hunter x Hunter,
Yes,
where
exactly.
like it is a almost like perfect epilogue moment where even if we never get, if the anime never comes back ever again, it's like we got some closure. Gon got to meet his family again, type thing. It's a very similar
It is very
thing
similar,
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, in both cases, like, you know, these characters, the protagonists, they're kind of separated from their family at the very beginning of the series, and that's kind of always a thread throughout it, is that they want to come back and reunite with them. So
they
yeah,
both
it
just
is
went through
very
some
similar.
horrendous shit, and it's like they deserve this W, please.
Right, exactly. And yeah, the last episode of Hunter x Hunter is not like, you know, super action packed, super emotional in like the dramatic, harrowing sense that a lot of the prior content was. But it's just like, yeah, this is where we've been going for this character all along. It doesn't matter to the story, but it matters to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good comparison.
Overall, I'm seeing a lot of, was it like B's, things like that for the ratings. I'm curious as to what kept it from like an A.
I mean, there's literally one of the four of us who doesn't think it's a masterpiece, right? Or one of the five of us.
I didn't write I've got a review up on the damn website. I gave it an A.
Right. So, what would you give it, Kane? Because I gave it an A at number one. Brand gave it an A at number one. You put it at number one. Kate gave it an A.
I mean, I don't really do rating things a whole lot, as you obviously know, but I did put it at number one on the list, which, you know, there's that solid 7 out of 7.
I like that.
Yeah, a 7-point rating scale.
Keeping us
Yeah,
on
I guess I was just mainly because I was looking at DJ's thing, and B is good, and I guess you haven't really said much about it in general anyway, DJ's,
Yeah.
I suppose.
I mean, I like it. It was a good show. And it had that one episode in the middle that I think is arguably one of the best episodes of anything all year.
The hell thing?
I really, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I liked the penultimate episode as well. I thought it was a really great conclusion. But overall, as a whole, while I liked it, it never really hooked me the way the first season did. And I was never really looking forward to the next episode at any point. So even though I enjoyed the show while I was watching it, it didn't really hype me up the way the first season did. And I couldn't find it in myself to give it an A. But it was still a really well-made show, and maybe upon a rewatch, I'd think of it differently. I've been fucking so busy this entire season, so that might have had some impact on the emotionally taxing journey that Vinland Saga is. But yeah, I mean, I still really liked it. It's just I didn't love it.
I think that's fair to say that the hype thing, because I don't think it really had a whole lot in there at like a hype, like it didn't have hype moments, at least in your standard fare in that way. So, and that's obviously something that I think we've joked about before because of people criticizing it because it didn't have like shown any hype moments and it wasn't Vikings just killing each other constantly. So it provided an entirely different experience to that. So
I think in the grand scheme of things, when the series is done, I will appreciate this arc a lot more than I do at the moment as what I assume is the brief reprieve in the most hellish world imaginable. But I don't know where shit goes from here. Like, for all I know, they could just have a happy life for the rest of the show, but it seems like with Vikings everywhere, I can't imagine that's how it's going to work.
It just turns into a Viking sitcom after this with the same camera angles and everything.
A farmhouse episode. It's like actually farm stuff instead of more war disguised as farm stuff.
Everybody loves Torfin.
All right,
I can understand the pacing of this season, making it a little harder to like grab people's attention or hype because of the weekly release. I feel like this season will go over well in like a batch or like binge watch for sure. Or like you said, like once you like rewatch it and when it's all done, it'll probably sit a lot better.
Yeah, I bet those emotional highs and lows will be all the stronger because of it.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. Like, I read all the manga, of course, before this, so I knew everything that was going to happen. But definitely compared to the first season, the tone and pacing and plot of this season were definitely just kind of like, oh yeah, it's Vinland Saga time. And then you watch it and you're like, oh man, great character study. Great commentary on humanity. Incredible. But not like, oh shit, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
I get
You
it.
weren't sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for the next depressing thing to happen.
Yeah.
When are they going to get the horse for their field?
I can't remember his name. Ketil's youngest son. What was Omar? Is that his
Omar.
name?
Yeah.
Omar, yeah.
Fuck Omar. I just wanted to get that
I
out
mean,
there.
pretty much. He's the fail son.
Like, because Vinland Saga,
Like
like they did it with Canute really well, where they take this character who seems wimpy and just insignificant, and they turn him into this phenomenal character who grows and develops into this completely different person. And Omar, his moment like that wasn't even really that impactful. He was still kind of just a shitty person who was not really growing in any way.
I mean, he grew. He realized that
Barely.
he turned his back on toxic masculinity and decided, you know what? Yeah, this is all bullshit. Fuck this.
Yeah, but like I feel like he didn't do that because he grew. I feel like he did that because he was just an actual coward. Like there wasn't any.
I mean, he probably
It's true.
It's true.
I mean, he does literally say, like, I'm just scared.
Yeah,
And
like he didn't
Brooklyn's like,
grow at
"That's
all.
cool,
He, was
bro."
just, he stayed exactly who he was in the beginning. He just like was true to himself, I guess, in just admitting that he sucks. So
Yeah, I think he accepted his own constitution as a coward.
Yeah.
And luckily, the people that were still around him by the end were like, good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I thought Ketil was great as a character. He was like just the growing in reverse type thing where he just breaks down over time and his world is fucking stripped away from him. That's cool. It's
so good to see him as a broken man at the end of it all. It's like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Good. I'm glad.
Well, like, because he was great for the majority of the show. And then I guess, like, you realize that he isn't as great as he seems. And it was that revelation that was
Like,
kind of eye-opening and really well done because Vinland Saga normally takes bad people and makes them look better. And they did the opposite this time, where they took a really good-looking guy and they were just like, actually, he is going to kill a pregnant woman. So...
Actually, he lied about his past. He's not really this guy that everybody thinks he is. And he's a slave. Guess what? Yeah, he's still a slave owner, and he's still been raping
the
a
lying
slave.
About his past thing, I can forgive because that was just sort of to make him look better in the eyes of his retainers and shit. And that's not. I don't think lying is an inherently bad thing to do. But when you're going around and killing slaves and not really valuing life the way that you've shown that you value life, and then you're a bad guy.
Okay, or you can look at it this way. He had this false narrative about his past, and then his oldest son took up that challenge, going, I have to be as much of a badass as my father, except for that wasn't his father. His father was not the badass.
Yeah, I don't really see an issue with either of those things, especially in that time frame where people were expected to be warriors. I don't really see that as a negative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine that Ketil, created this fictional past to try to boost his reputation without actually, being a warrior and killing people. I think that's fine. Like, Thorgil took it the wrong way, and Ketil regrets that fact, but there's kind of nothing you can do about it. Thorgil is a fucking monster, and he can't believe that he's his son. But no, the issue is definitely he is a slave driver who uses female slaves as his property and rapes them constantly. And if they do anything to, distance themselves from his perfect idea of what he's created for them and their narrative and their role in his life, then he beats them to death while they're pregnant. So yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, that's what made him a bad guy.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, I always took his lying as just his defense mechanism to just survive as a pacifist, partially a coward in a world where it just doesn't accept that.
Exactly.
I mean, Thorfinn learned very much so kind of the hard way about trying to live your life in that fashion, considering one episode he's like, I'm never going to hurt anyone again. And then he immediately gets put in a position where he has to do it.
Yeah.
So it can be very hard to do that. So Kettle just solved it in a different manner by just making up these grandiose stories. And there's always the chance, too, that Thorgil could have turned out the exact same way if he just would have found like a surrogate father figure in one of the retainers or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of nurture versus nature there. Like, I think Thorgil, this is in his nature. And, there's a great example of that by contrasting him with Olmar, who wants to be Thorgil, but is the exact opposite constitution in every way. So their nature plays a big part in it. So I think Thorgil is going to end up that way no matter what his role models look like.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Olmar's place in the story, because Olmar and Thorgil are perfect reflections of Kettle, because it's like Thorgil became what Kettle said he was, but Olmar was who he really was. And it was just like before, like Olmar didn't have that base to like, live a life of lies and like, tote that line like his dad did. So he thought he just had to be like his older brother and his dad, which like obviously he did not have that dog in him. So I don't know. I like having a character like that is just clearly a weak coward piece of shit, and it's like, well, yeah, there's gonna be those guys. Not everyone gets like a full redemption that makes them like a better person or like stronger because of it. It's just like, no, you just got to accept what you are at this point.
Yeah, like
Olmar says as much at the end. He's like, I want to be like you, Thorfinn.
Right, yeah.
He's not there. He knows it would take a lot to get there.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because he was, he spent his life trying to be like Thorgil, and, finally throughout this arc he realized that is not going to work out for him. So now he sees that, what works for him aligns much more strongly with Thorfinn. And so that's what he wants to aim for now. And so, we'll get a Disney Plus spinoff of Better Call Olmar. But no, I think like what Kane was saying, about people just trying to survive in this society, we've talked about this a lot, but it's definitely just a huge theme of Vinland Saga. Almost every character represents some different personality type that you never really get to see explored in this kind of setting that, have always existed in humanity. Certainly, how did they survive in settings like this? So, you have your Thorgils and Thorkels and Ashlads. They were made for this kind of world. That's great. But then, you have people like Thors, who spend their lives being warriors and then come to an epiphany that that's not the right way to go about things and become pacifists. You have Thorfinn, who, has a rougher road to get to that realization. But when he finally does, he has all of the strength to be able to accept that and be the strong pacifist that can take 100 blows to the head. And then, you have people like Canute, who kind of go in the opposite direction, where they're too soft for this world and certainly for their position in it, and need to strengthen themselves and are able to do so. And then you have this family that we're dealing with, where, some people might see that you need to look like you're strong, and so you create this persona and make people believe that you're strong while still being able to be a pacifist when it comes to fighting warriors, maybe not so much when it comes to beating women, but not having to engage in that because you've created this kind of blowfish narrative that will scare people away. And then, the two reflections of that, where you have the rage behind Kettle's Iron Fist that actually does, become that reality that he tried to create as his narrative. And then the other side of it, that's pure cowardice that, follows superficially the same trajectory as Thorfinn, going from, trying to be the just bloodthirsty warrior to trying to be the pacifist. But unlike Thorfinn, who has all of this inherent strength and has built up that strength throughout all of his years, Olmar is a weakling and a coward and has none of that bravery that is required if you're going to be an actual pacifist in this world and be able to stand up to people with power. So, he is the failed Thorfinn, and that's fair. I'd be Olmar in Viking society. I'm a weakling and a coward. Like, I'm not going to stand up to the king. I'm not going to take 100 blows to the head. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Olmar ain't taking any punches, let alone 100 of them.
I'm gonna. This is, it's funny. The tonal whiplash, that final, basically epilogue episode. They cut out a very, very funny bit from the manga, which is, gee, Thorfinn looked awfully okay the next day after that beating he took. He did not in the manga. He looked like fucking shit.
Yeah,
he looked worse than he did in that final scene.
Yeah.
He was basically one swollen mess that looked like he'd been attacked by 5 billion bees. So that scene in the manga where they were saying goodbye to Snake and all the rest of them, Thorfinn's speech was coming out like because he was just a swollen mess of a man.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my one caveat with this whole damn season was that being cut.
I know, it was so good too. It was and I'm like, man, they could have made him look a little fucking mangled. Like, he looked way too good.
I feel like they just did it for the consistency of the tone of the arc.
Yeah, they totally did, but even then I think they brought his injuries back down a little bit too much. I'm like, oh come on, you could have left him at least way more black and blue, But
the animators were like, wait, but Thorfinn's kind of hot.
Yeah.
They're like, man, we don't want to make him ugly. What? They also cut out the reason why he cut his
big.
Yeah. They also cut out the reason why he cut his hair at that very last scene, which was his sister basically cornered him and was trying to marry him off, trying to spruce him up, so that she's all like, okay, you got to find a wife now. You're way too old. And it's like, wait, what?
So they just parlayed it into a character transformative moment and not
his sister forcing him to sit down and the little kids in the household going, girly hair, girly hair.
That's one of my least favorite, I don't know if you can call it a trope, but the character changes their hair as a sign of transformation.
Yeah.
That's
Vinland Saga's got a lot of
overdone. I hate it.
Vinland Saga does a lot of completely changing Thorfinn and Knut's design every time they have a major character growth.
Yeah, but it was so good seeing Ylva be like, nah, and she's like, you look dumb with the beard. He's like, but all men have beards, and she's like, no, you cut that off. And then they're like, look at that baby face. They're like, you look so tame. You don't look like a killer now. With the beard.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Indeed. Well, we talked a lot about that, so, and I'm sure we could keep going, but I imagine
we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we should move on to another show, even though the conversation was rousing. Let's see. How about I want to talk a little bit Gundam. Let's step from one depressing show into another one.
Okay, I'm still behind on Gundam, so somebody flag me back down. I'm gonna peace out for a minute.
Okay. DJ, are you caught up? Because I know the
Yeah.
last time you were on
There's one episode left, right? That hasn't aired yet.
Yes. Correct.
And I'm caught up. Yeah.
All right, I'll peace out. You guys enjoy your discussion. Flag me back in when you're done.
Yeah.
You'll put chapters in again, right, Kate?
Yes, the chapters will be going forward.
Sweet.
They're easier on the software I use now than they used to be. So
Nice. So yeah, anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled on Gundams, skip to the next chapter.
Yeah, DJ, what'd you think of because you haven't been on in a while. What the fuck happens to Guel for most of the show?
Well, Guel is just the punching bag of Witch of Mercury. So
He sure is.
it's suitable that he continues to get punched up to today.
I think it's funny how much they faked out his death at the end, though. Like, I was like, oh, he's gonna get like one final hurrah of heroics, and then it'll be over for him. His suffering will end.
I kind of didn't like that. Like I get that it, I guess, makes sense for the future of the show, but anytime there's a really dramatic, impactful moment like that in anything that just gets cut short by a character that just comes out of nowhere, I don't like that a lot. And it felt like a waste of that moment. Like it wasn't really important at all in the grand scheme of things. So
yeah, they should have doubled down and have him kill his brother too.
Yeah, like that would have been a better move, I think, because it would give Guel a good send off. He would die a hero basically, and fucking Lauda in his final moments would also realize the wrongs of his way, and just having random ass girl show up and be like, "Stop dying." I don't feel like is a good enough excuse to have that not happen.
Yeah, and that alternate version would have felt more Gundam honestly. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah, it felt, especially with the line at the end where it's like, dying would have been very funny at all. I'm like, who says that?
Yeah.
Right? That was a weird line, yeah.
Also, I didn't realize up until now that there was like special Gundam like anti-explosion foam.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't. When he just started getting coomed on, I was like, well, "What's happening?"
Brought the glue gun from Prey. I don't know if you guys ever played that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's like the most perfect comparison. But yeah, it did,
really what it was.
It did feel super super weird because you were preparing for him to die finally and get that fucking sweet release.
No, you stay suffering, boy.
I mean, I guess that's appropriate. He has to keep suffering forever. That is his role in life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was just gonna say the last episode DJ was on, it was before Guel like crashed into Earth and had to experience all that bullshit.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It just felt like such a waste of a moment to not have anyone really come out of that harmed or dead or something.
It was a bit of a cop out, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Just like another show this season.
I think everything else in that episode was really solid though, and I feel like this beat for the story in general has been really cool. Season 2 got off to a kind of boring start, I want to say, where it was still okay, but it felt like just a shell of season 1, and it's turned around ever since Miorina went to Earth, I think, and I'm really into it again. Seeing everybody struggle has been fun. Schadenfreude.
Yeah, when she went to Earth and got knocked down a couple pegs. A lot
She needed
of
it.
pegs.
Yeah. She's been getting knocked down a lot, though, ever since fucking Soletta's mom showed up. Prospera?
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since she showed up, Miorina has been getting slapped around. And I guess she was finally like, you know what, enough's enough. And now they're doing shit, which is cool.
Yeah, it gave the opportunity for good character growth for her, of course, just through having to go through way more shit than a lot of characters do in their respective shows to get that growth. Like, she is Torfin-esque in that way, where she's just having to crawl across broken glass and everything to get there. Just here, I was honestly like pretty cool with it because I was still butthurt over how she treated Suletta to like make all those decisions for her and cast her aside and everything in a way that didn't even feel like sincere, where she was like, I want you to be free of this. And I was just like, your naivety is incredible at this point. It's like on point because she spent the whole show shitting on her dad in this company, and then she's like, no, I'm gonna run it. And
yeah, I mean, she's also a stupid teenage girl. So
yeah, exactly. A stupid teenage
That's gonna
girl.
happen.
They're all stupid teenagers, except apparently fucking oh, and I can't remember his name, the one who tried to take over everybody and almost kill his own dad as well.
Unique.
Yeah, Shadiq.
harem guy.
Yeah, harem guy.
Yeah.
So it was one of those where I was generally satisfied being like, yeah, fuck you the whole time. Like, this is how the real world works. How dare you be optimistic?
Yeah, Shadik, I don't really know how I feel about him as a character because even now at like the end of the second season, I still don't really understand what he was doing. I just know that it was bad. But I feel like that just is a result of me not fully grasping the politics of this show, maybe. It's just, you can tell when there's a bad guy and when there's a good guy, and he was clearly the bad guy. I just didn't really know why he was the bad guy.
Well, I don't even know if you could call him the bad guy necessarily. He is one of, I guess you could say, antagonistic characters.
Yeah.
But what he was ultimately trying to disassemble the Benneret group in order to bring the Earth back into prominence because of the fact that the Benneret group is the biggest factor in the decline of the planet. Because as you learn, he is from that planet, uh, early on. So then he tries to wreck everything from the inside using a very much ends justify the means. Meanwhile, Prospera kind of does the same thing, but in a much more like immediately destructive environment and way. So it's hard to say that he's necessarily the bad guy because I kind of agree with what he wanted to do, which was destroy space capitalism.
Sounds good
Just
when you put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean that's what he wanted to do. His whole thing was I'm going to take over the company and then I'm going to do all of these things that will basically either get the Benneret group dissolved or crash their value so much that I can sell things back to Earth and then Earth can prosper based off of that. So he essentially wanted to dismantle space capitalism from the inside out rather than Prospera, who that would have been a side effect of her mission, but her mission was just destroy them because they ruined my life.
Yeah, just revenge.
Yeah, just straight up revenge. So in that way, she's much more the bad guy than Shadiq is. At least Shadiq has some type of, uh, at least politically based motive behind it, with the idea of doing good in the long run. And Prospera is just like burn everything to the ground.
Yeah, Shadiq was more of like a ends justify the means approach. Even if he like put all his fellow students in harm's way, he was trying to like reclaim Earth in a way. But yeah,
Yeah.
Prospero's just like, nah, I'm gonna take over everything.
Well, I think especially because I doubt he felt any great connection to many of his other students because a lot of them were high, like, ranking space, what they call them, Spacians. I still don't
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
Spacians that, it wouldn't necessarily be right, but you could draw the line of like what they do the Earth House, where they're just like Spacians versus Earth people, because the Spacians, even though they're kids, their parents are doing all this nasty ass shit. So that's how I sort of figured Shadiq was able to do everything so easily, is that he never felt like that much of a connection to anybody because he saw them all as just either pawns or representatives of all the struggle that Earth has, just their kids.
Yeah. Space Nepo babies. He's like, whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I was for a good chunk of the first half of the second season, I was convinced we might be getting like another full core after this.
Yeah.
Because of the pacing and stuff. But I feel like the second half was just like bam, 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 development, development, development. And now I don't know. I think it's gonna end in the next episode. Like I don't really know unless there's something else looming even further. I guess there was giant space laser. They kind of just like pulled that out. They're like, oh yeah, it can't be Gundam without a guy that wants to fire a colony destroying laser.
Yeah, that's a trademark.
Yeah. Literally, it's like, who is this guy all of a sudden that's trying to be a warmonger? Like, what's happening?
Now, I feel like I've asked this question before, and I can't remember the answer to it, but how long do Gundam series normally go on for? Because I know some of them are like decently long, but I don't know if I should expect more out of this or if like it's going to be done after the second core, or I just don't know what they normally do.
Most of the popular ones have been getting two core seasons. So that's why a lot of people expected that this one would go on for 4 cores in total. But it does, like the next episode is marked as the final episode and everything. I could see it being something like, Seed got Seed Destiny as like a full-on sequel series where it's not like part of the original exactly, but it got more. Yeah, same universe and everything, just a continuation. And that's kind of going back to the beginning with UC. It was kind of the way they did it too, with like the OG and then Zeta and then Double Zeta. I could see another series that, this one can have its own conclusion and can stand on its own. But if it's successful, which it is, then I could see it getting another couple seasons of a new series.
Yeah, cool. Because I definitely want more of these characters.
I mean, it'd be cool to have like a second season that focuses on what happens on Earth. Like the couple episodes where Guel is there, were pretty intense, and it made me want to be like see what life is like down there, especially since a lot of this season has to deal with them and the machinations of the people in space. So, I'll watch 26 episodes of Gundam terrorists. I mean, sure.
I'm just glad we got a cheeky 0079 reference in one of the last episodes when Guel and Soleta were like fencing each other. I thought that was silly.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was definitely a weird.
It was literally just straight up them referencing the original series. That's all that was for.
Is that what that was? Because I couldn't remember any point in this series where fencing was even mentioned. And that was just like a thing that they were both really good at all of a sudden. And that was very odd to me.
I think it was just like, they dueled at school. This is also a type of duel. Like,
yeah, but why fencing and why were they both really good at it despite having assumedly zero chaining?
Yeah, Guel could have kind of made sense because it's like he grew up rich and that's a rich people thing. But Suleta probably didn't even know what that shit was until 5 seconds before it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably 75% 0079 reference, 25% Utena reference.
Yeah, that's true. She literally did like the final shot pose after she beat Guel. I'm like, all right, she's holding it for a few seconds. I'm like, they really want to make sure people see the reference. It was silly.
Yeah, it was interesting that we talked last episode about how we were so confident they were going to get one because there were so many things that had to happen. And then the show's just like, yeah, all those things, here they are.
Yeah, Quiet Zero. Yeah, that shit's quietly already done. Sorry.
Good one.
I appreciate you workshopping it live.
I give that joke a quiet 0. I don't know.
That was much better.
You redeemed yourself. All right. Anything else for Gundam?
We're gonna get a lot of cool toys.
Yeah.
True.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna go to they've just built a second Gundam store near me. So
damn.
I have 2 Gundam stores in my town now.
I would definitely buy a Gunpla, that purple one that Guel was piloting in the end.
True.
I like my thick boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. We can call Kate back into the fray.
Yeah.
Come
What we got
back.
next, though? It's our next topic of discussion.
Well, I mean, we still have three shows or so that we're all watching. I mean, I'm probably gonna get shit on for one of them at the very least.
Which one?
So,
D Mid Slayer?
thank you. 10 out of fucking 10. That was great. Excellent
I
episode
made him
title.
write it.
Boom. It's just what you said before, DJ, about you don't like it when a dramatic moment is wasted because nothing happens is exactly what happened in Demon Slayer, and I fucking hated it.
At the end,
Yeah.
Nezuko, yeah.
Man, I fucking hated it.
Yeah, that I felt really conflicted about it at first because like as soon as she shows up again, I'm like, I think that might have been a waste. But then I feel like there's a lot more importance to it than we understand at this moment. And it was kind of just like a shonen fake out, which is a thing that happens. But yeah, I see where you're coming from, and it annoyed me a little, but I mean, she's my favorite, so go with her.
Yeah,
Stick
I know.
around.
I know
She
a
gets-
lot of people are gonna give it a pass because Nezuko is a favorite and they don't want to see her die and stuff. And neither do I. I think she's cool. And I like her character a lot too. I want to
Yeah.
be clear there. It's just they spent so much time on that scene, so much indecision from do I go try to save these swordsmiths and kill the demon, or do I save my sister?
Bro, I
And then
hate Tanjiro.
she's burning alive. She is burning alive. Like she's practically a piece of charcoal by the time he gets kicked off of Nezuko and everything. And then he just turns around and she's totally fine and cool. And the best they could do is just her blood is special. Like where the fuck did that come from?
Well, yeah, I think that's setting up like the next shit though, because that's what Muzan wants. Like he
I
needs
know.
that shit, and I get it. And I think it would have been better if it ended the way that you're expecting it to end. And I would have given it a higher grade because that's the fucking emotionally impactful shit I live for. But I understand why it wasn't like that.
Yeah, and she didn't necessarily have to die either. Part of me was like, I don't know, Tanjiro, you could just fucking throw her somewhere,
Right?
maybe, or the other demon guy could be a little bit quicker about climbing down that thing, considering he's supposed to have all this insane power. Muster a little bit of extra so then you can cover her. And I don't know if he burns in the sunlight, clearly not, but like do something, I guess, other than spend so much time and effort and emotional labor at this point just to erase it all in like 5 seconds. Like
Yeah, a lot of
it did
time for
not.
no reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it did not rub me the right way, especially because I've talked about this with Demon Slayer and stuff before. Like the Mugen Train arc is the best so far for me, also because there is a death in there that is meaningful. And we are once again at the end of a Demon Slayer arc, and nobody important dies, despite the fact that these demons are insanely strong.
Even though
But
I felt like
everyone
these
survives.
demons didn't feel as strong as the
No,
last
I did
season.
see that. Yeah, I did see that as a big criticism from people. It's like the demons did not feel as strong or interesting, which, yeah, like overall, not great from them. I wish the pot one would have had more time because I thought his power was cooler, but it was also the way he died and how he got like dunked on was also very cool. So I'm conflicted.
I think the like multiplying tiny ass demon dude sucked. He was
Yep.
goofy and enabled a lot of the really shitty form of Demon Slayer comedy that I just don't find funny ever.
They definitely did, and I think it also made it ripe for artificially extending a battle because you could always just introduce a new emotion if you felt like it. Like,
Yeah. I did like this more than the last arc, I will say.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, fucking, because what's his name wasn't here.
Oh no.
And-
fucking
Zenitsu.
Yeah,
Zenitsu.
Zenitsu. Yeah, Zenitsu wasn't here, and that he's just unbearable whenever he's around. And there was no fucking like cross play for half of the season, which was also weird. And I just
the pacing in general for the season was just fucking weird.
I felt that about the last season, but I mean, the pacing of the last season was just a fight, so that was boring, I think. And it felt like there was obviously still a lot of fighting in this because it's Demon Slayer, but it was multiple fights going on instead of just like one, which I think made it better. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's the crisscross between the two fights that made it feel like it was hard to get invested in either one of them, especially when all things considered, the pot demon fight, and I don't remember like anyone's fucking name, obviously, but the Hashira in that spent a decent amount of time just in a bubble of water.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like multiple fights with multiple flashbacks because we need to tell you who these characters are.
Yeah, so it felt like it couldn't really get itself going because by the time it would get going, then they would cut to the other fight. And you'd have to be sort of transported back to that situation. Then you have to remember what's going on, and then you have to get those flashbacks. It couldn't build momentum solidly because of the fact that it split those two fights into like separate things. Yeah, I think it's at the bottom. It's right above Mashal on my list. Which, yeah. Still looks good. The fighting is still cool.
Oh, it looks great. Like,
Looks fantastic.
If you rate your shows purely on aesthetics, that show still looks great. But
yep.
Yeah, I'm also just really like I knew it was something I didn't like about Tanjiro, but until I saw someone pointed out on Twitter that he literally has to like say everything that he thinks or is seeing happen, I was like, oh no, they planted this seed now, and every piece of dialogue he has, I realize, is just him stating the action he's doing or what he thinks he needs to do.
Yes.
And oh my god,
since the beginning of the series, Tanjiro
really
has shouted every thought he's ever had out loud.
It's true. And I've never really liked him, but like I feel like this season, is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Maybe in the future seasons, we'll be introduced to the idea that Tanjiro does not have an internal monologue.
Yeah.
Which is why he shouts everything out.
Because that's kind of like Luffy from One Piece. One Piece has been going on for well over 1,000 installments, and Luffy's the main character, and he's never had an internal thought in the series. So it's kind of the same thing where, like, these protagonists that are like, they just wear their heart on their sleeves and shout out all of their thoughts and feelings. They don't really have any capacity for thinking without speaking.
But I love that about Luffy. Like, that's one of my favorite parts about him. Yeah, it's endearing, and also it's just, it's genuine, and it's kind of like, because Luffy reminds me a lot of Gon as a character, like very just like naive and just like does before he thinks, whereas Tanjiro is like analyzing, but still just talking and just saying shit, and it's just like, dude, stop. Stop. Yeah,
those two, Gon and Luffy, are definitely much more instinctual, whereas Tanjiro is just an out loud analyzer.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
His panic attack scene was great though, even though ultimately wasted.
Yeah.
His acting in general is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's what made me hate the fake out death even more, because I'm like, that, like, the performance was so incredibly active.
Breathing, oh man.
Yeah, and I could feel like the panic build up in me.
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say?
He mentioned the breathing, so I said, the total concentration breathing.
But yeah, like I could feel it, and then like just to have it felt like the emotions not only of the scene but of me as a viewer were somewhat invalidated by the end.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, it was. I really hope, and we probably won't get it, but I want to see more about the other guy with the fucking gun, like that he eats demon flesh to get these like transformative demon powers, and also has this sweet ass like shotgun gun. I want more of him.
I mean, I feel like these arcs have kind of been setting up where the party for at least the final arc or two is going to be Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, Genya, and what's her name, girl. So I feel like we will get more of Genya and we'll learn more about him.
The quiet girl.
Yeah.
I like
the
her.
one that helped the butterfly Hashira.
I want her and Tanjiro to get married.
I think those 5 are going to be like the party at the end.
That makes sense.
The next arc is like Hashira training, isn't it? But
I think so, yeah.
What in what context? Because I saw one picture of all the Hashiras currently being young, and I'm like, are we getting a flashback arc, or is this like they're finally training to become Hashira? Because man, they fucking deserve it at this point.
Yeah.
At least Tanjiro.
After you kill an upper rank demon, you should just get promoted.
Exactly.
Yeah, after you kill one and had like a heavy hand in killing another one.
Right?
Yeah. Like this is
Tanjiro's
something
kind of there for all of this shit.
Like no upper rank demon has been killed in centuries, and we've had all of these Hashiras come and go in all that time. Yeah, no, absolutely. Just promote him on the spot.
Yeah, get that battlefield promotion. give him that extra PTO. All that shit. He deserves it.
I think it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, 401k. Get him fully vested.
When the upper, like the fear demon or whatever, the mini guy was getting killed, I think it's funny that they tried to give him a flashback, but it's like they couldn't even really make him sympathetic. He was just always like a lying cowardice piece of shit. It was like, I just thought it was so funny because every demon up to this point has gotten a bit of sympathy, but not really that guy.
It was refreshing, to be honest, in a way.
Yeah.
So many of the demons, you're meant to feel bad for them because they had rough lives when they were living, but then you have to immediately juxtapose it with them killing hundreds of people and being just the most evil thing in the universe. But this guy, I was like, finally we get a guy who's just like a piece of shit for no reason, and he just happens to get turned into a demon and still a piece of shit.
Yeah. Did they give us any flashback at all about like Vase Man?
Vase Man?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they did. Yeah, he was just kind of like a demon that existed and was cool looking, but we know nothing about where he comes from and won't ever find out.
You can make an argument that he's probably the most pure evil out of all of them because of just how fucked up he was, like with that like flesh statue.
It was rad. He was so cool.
It was rad. It was rad.
It's ironic. Him and Genya were the two most interesting new characters of the season, and neither of them got flashbacks.
But Genya did, didn't he?
Did he? I don't.
Yeah, he did, because you saw like his whole family got killed by a demon that turned out to be his own mom.
Oh, yeah. And he had his older brother or whatever.
Yeah, his older brother, I guess, becomes a Hashira or something, or...
Yeah, we've seen him.
Yeah. So you got a flashback.
That's true. I think I slotted it in the back of my mind because
Tokyo's kind of overwrote it for me, where he like also had like a tragic childhood, but that one was like slightly more interesting and coherent. And so I kind of forgot about Kenya's too.
Yeah, it's like it makes me think of that scene from Spider-Verse where he's like, "Oh, let me guess, then Uncle Ben died." It's like, "Oh, let me guess, your family was killed by demons."
Yeah.
All right, that's a lot of time on Demon Slayer.
That is enough.
Okie dokie. Then let's see. We've got Skip and Loafer and Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise is fucking rad. Let's talk about that.
It's underrated.
I love this show. It is so cool and so unique, and the art direction is just awesome. Fucking weird demon god things are cool. The Tencent are cool. The characters are cool, and everybody's dying. It's this is a rad show.
Yeah, it really is. I wish it was more popular.
It's weird that it's not, because I feel like it has all of the makings of being like a popular, trendy show.
It really does.
It might be too mature or something that they can't really market it, because there's like half nudity where there are naked characters who just don't have nipples because nipples are evil or something. I don't know. But yeah, this has like the makings of just like all of the dark fantasy religious shit that I like crammed into one thing with samurai, which I also fucking like. And so I'm just having a great time watching this.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's only getting one core for now. And, I was thinking about these other big dark fantasy Shonen Jump hits that have exploded after their anime have come out, like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. And I feel like, obviously both of them got 2 cores right off the bat. I feel like even Demon Slayer, didn't really hit until partway through the second core. Like, episode 19, that was when everyone lost their mind. Demon Slayer became the biggest thing in the world. So
is that when Nezuko gets her demon blood art?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the tits.
Right. So I feel like, maybe this one needed 2 cores, and in its second core it would have, hit that moment or something. But it's weird that it's only getting 1, and based on the fact that there's only 1 episode left and it is not a big hit yet, maybe it's not going to happen for this one.
It's so odd because it feels nowhere close to done either. And I can't.
I mean, they just figured out how to even fight these things, let alone defeat them.
They've done fucking nothing, and there's 1 episode left.
And obviously Mappa has a lot on their fucking plate, as always. So that probably goes into the 1 core thing. But in terms of material, they can make it as long as they want because the manga's over. So it's a perfect candidate to get 2 cores right off the bat.
The cynical part of me is just saying it isn't as popular because it's not as marketable.
Yeah, it's because it's got really questionable material. It's got religious idolatry, and it's got people literally just repeatedly raping a girl for magic powers. It's got just
they get stomped out, though, which is great.
Sex and characters who can switch sexes, and it's just it's a lot of dark shit that you don't see in other shows.
It's true. It does seem a little bit harder to slap in Hot Topic.
Yeah,
nobody in this show is going to get put on a t-shirt.
Right.
Yeah, it's so interesting though. Like, I've never watched anything like this before, where it's like battle royale, but also like a Demon Slayer type thing, and they're fighting gods, which is just so rad.
Yeah, the Tencent monster forms are really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. I love it. It's so good. I'm sorry.
I'm just so excited that DJ finally gets shonen.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a surgence of dark shonen these recent years, which I'm all about. Like, it's none of the Naruto Bleach type stuff where it's just generic fighting and blah blah blah. We get really, really dark shit where people are being mutilated and transformed into other shit, and it's gross and eerie. And I'm all about that.
Chopped liver.
I mean, 'cause these don't really feel like I think that Hell's Paradise is more of a seinen type show than a shonen type show, because it's
for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine aiming this at children, and I feel that same way about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Remember, Attack on Titan is a shonen show.
It's all of the shit that's clearly aimed at a larger either teenage, young adult, or adult audience. I like that stuff. I like the long form fighting action shit, as long as there is a good amount of drama meshed in with it in a way that's presented as mature. I'm all about that. These shows I can get into, but if you've shit like Mob, though, I can't do that because it's not the dark stuff. At least it doesn't look like it's the dark stuff. I could be wrong. I haven't watched it. Or One Punch Man. That's another one. Like those type of shonen, I don't think I can grasp.
Right. Well, and to this show's credit, ultimately, it doesn't try to be something that it's not either. Like, you're not getting post-credit scenes of like Chibi Gabimaru.
Yeah.
You know, you're not getting any comedy like whatsoever, or attempts to make it more approachable so that they could sell keychains.
Yeah. It's
Like,
a dark show and it stays dark.
Yeah, like it isn't compromising of its vision in that same fashion. Which, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, also anime is a money-making business.
Yeah.
So if you can't make products off of it, then it's, there's a chance it's not going to do nearly as well because it's not going to have the backing of the industry behind it, pushing all these keychains and shirts and figures and all the shit. So yeah. It's gotten so fucking good.
That's like Gundam's whole existence for the past, what are we at, almost 50 years now? It's 50 years of a toy commercial that uses its platform to talk about war and imperialism and capitalism.
Yup. Blown up hospitals. But yeah, like I want it to be so much more popular too, because the battles are so like well animated and visceral, especially anyone that Gabimaru is involved in, because I fucking love a good like hand-to-hand combat like type deal, because I like swords and shit as much as the next person, but when you just get in there and you're just punching and kicking and doing like roundhouse spin kicks and shit, that is where it's at. So yeah, I want to know more about this island in Han and all of this, especially with the whole revelation where they're like, yeah, this like heaven thing you guys talk about, yeah, that's bullshit. We made that up. This whole like elixir thing, yeah, we made that up too. Like just telling them right to their face that their whole reason for being here is just a complete lie, and it's up to them to believe if they're being lied to or not. Like that is heavy shit to be told in such an offhanded manner, which makes the impact of it all the greater, because he's just like, oh, you think that's real? What an idiot.
Yeah, they are intimidating. Like, and on a level that I feel like I don't get out of a lot of the other darker shonen stuff I've watched, where it normally feels like the protagonist has a chance. And when it comes to the Tensen, at least right now, nobody's got a fucking chance. They're just way, way too powerful for anyone to even comprehend going against them. And it is really, it's how it should feel to fight a god. Not to mention there are like fucking 7 of them. So it's an intimidating show.
Yeah, they're still in the standpoint where they're just trying to feel out if they have a shot at surviving, which is very refreshing. Like nobody has, well, except for that blonde guy. Most of the people don't really realistically think they can beat them either. Like if they just believe in themselves or train hard, they're just like, I need to find a way to kill this thing or I'm dead. Like it feels more, I don't know, basic, like an instinctual thing, like a ground down to the bare basics in a way where they don't even think about that. Every fight feels like it's life and death because it is. And so they're not nearly as drawn out because of how quickly you can get killed. Like, I don't think we've had any particularly long battles in this either. We haven't had like a 3-episode long.
Oh, no. Like 1 episode max.
Yeah, 1 episode or a half an episode, and then they already know, like, I'm going to die here.
Yeah. I also like that we've got like a Zatoichi parallel with the blind samurai guy. Because that is I'm sure it's at least partially intentional, because that is a dude who shows up in all sorts of old Japanese samurai films, and he's cool as shit. So,
yeah, I want to know how he even got there. So, yeah, I want to know that too.
Tao,
or he was just walking around.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think basically everyone here is in agreement that this should be way way hyper and bigger than it is. So maybe
100%.
Yeah, hopefully we can will that into existence. How long is the manga, if it's done already?
Yeah, it's done. 13 volumes.
Not that long.
Yeah.
How far are we approximately now, if you know?
Let me see if I can find comparison.
It can't be that far. While he's looking, I also want to talk about how the one moment that I did find funny, and I don't think you were supposed to, was when the tree guy gets his head hit off, and it sounds like you just snapped like a piece, like a stick in half. I did laugh out loud at that, where he just flicked his finger and his head flew off, and it just sounded like a little splinter.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh. You guys are jerks. I liked the tree guy.
No, I liked it too. It's just the way that he was standing there and it was like his head just pops off.
It just kind of pops off, yeah. Looks like we're gonna be covering about a third of the manga in this season.
Okay.
Rad.
Indeed.
3 episodes or 4 episodes per volume, rather.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's so much more to go.
If we get it, which I hope we do.
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely popular enough that we're gonna get all of the
Okay,
manga adapted.
good.
Yeah, I mean the manga itself was super popular, so that's why it almost feels like more an anomaly that the show isn't as big as it was anticipated to be.
Yeah.
Man, just the way
Definitely
people
surprises.
turn into flowers and shit, it's so haunting. Oh man, it's so good. I love how this show looks.
Oh man, the Tanuki dog guy, the way
Yeah,
he
poor glasses tune.
instantly got flowered up. I was like, oh man, maybe there's a chance, but it's like, no, he just got one shot.
Yeah, he got turbo, like, fast forwarded it. Speed
Yeah.
run that flower shit.
Yeah.
I wonder if the ninja lady will have, like, any particularly lingering feelings about that. Like, I feel like she'd put up a front that she won, but I can imagine maybe, like, in a private moment, she would at least say something.
She is interesting as a character, given that we know basically nothing about her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes to get
She's voiced
gooey.
by my girl.
She does like to get gooey. No, yeah,
Don't say that.
no,
Yeah,
no
likes to
tents
get
and
all-
nipples, but cover her in very concerning liquids.
Yeah,
That's
questionably colored goo.
Yeah. I just don't
It's a
know
weird ability.
where this season's gonna end. Like, I don't know what the what this what the cliffhanger could be.
Especially because it feels like even with the Zatoichi guy coming in, I didn't particularly feel like, oh, now they're going to win. I thought,
No.
well, now they could escape.
Well, now this guy gets to die in their place.
Yeah, either that or I'm like, well, maybe now they have a shot at surviving. But yeah, which is not something you feel in shonen very often when a character shows up. Like most of the time when they show up, it's because like the cavalry is here.
Mhm.
In this case, I was more like, well, I mean, maybe they could get away. Yeah, it's very good. But let's see. Well, I think the last thing we all have in common, or the vast majority of us, is Skip and Loafer, which I think the last time we had a season episode, it's also weird to talk about because it's always bookended by terribly violent or depressing shows, and then you've got this one shining like a sunflower.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah, a palate cleanser.
We're
This is
also-
the ginger after the sushi.
We were also like legally obligated to cover this show because of Chris Beveridge.
I'm
I think
glad.
that's how it works.
I'm really happy everybody likes this. That's because I'm the PA Works guy. That is just what I am. We all know it, and everybody normally doesn't watch the PA Works show, let alone the cute romance PA Works show. And we are this time, and it's good, and we're all having fun, and it makes us feel nice.
I know we enjoy it in this household very much. What's interesting is I don't even I know it is, but I think maybe what helps it, coming from someone who doesn't watch romance, is that it doesn't feel like it. Like it
It's a
just has.
really like slow burn, just high school slice of life with
Yeah.
a glimpse of romance that is like the cornerstone of that genre for me. Because all of the like blatant shoujo stuff is normally pretty shitty, but
Mhm.
then you've got things like this that it's very clear that there is an actual like developing relationship between characters that doesn't have to be romantic right away, but it's just the idea of two people growing closer together, which even if it's not romantic, I feel like puts it into the romance genre.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
it is
watch a lot of
definitely.
actual shoujo romance stuff with that comment, but okay.
Yeah, because that's not something I really watch a whole lot, and I don't particularly find romance as like
Mm,
the tent pole of a show to be very uh like
to be
in my
fair,
wheelhouse.
there's not a whole lot of pure slice of life romance shoujo out there animated that doesn't
There
have
is.
some. I mean, that doesn't have like some like alternate like angle to it.
No, there's like tons of just normal like slice of life high school shoujo stuff. Like that's what Becca watches, and
Yeah.
there's even more of it in manga form. But
I
uh,
feel like I haven't seen. I don't know. I feel like there's not as much of it out there animated, but
Yeah. Either way,
I mean,
we very much enjoy it. I'm glad the model girl got fucking told off because how dare she how dare she blackmail my Shima, hold his high school life hostage.
yeah,
I thought her deal was going to be a lot more serious than it actually was, where it just turned out to just be like some scandal thing. Where she was
Yeah,
just
maybe
seen
that's
in
just
public with boys. Like she made it seem like it was like a much bigger thing.
yeah, I was chalking that up to just like cultural differences between what we accept from our
Yeah,
celebrities here,
mhm,
where we've all the way back to the Wizard of Oz, our teenage superstars get hooked on crack immediately.
yeah,
So when they were like, I was out late with boys and we had a beer, I was just, man, this doesn't hit for me.
yeah,
Not
that
not
felt
to
odd.
mention, yeah, I know it's a shitty reason, but there's still the whole like, well, now you're a really famous model, so it didn't ruin your life.
right, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
Like you have to wear hats and shit outside so people don't run into you all the time. Like I know you had a couple years of probably hard times and inconveniences and things, but your life
you're
is
good now.
arguably better than Shima's right now, who's just trying to go to
yeah,
school. So yeah, I'm just glad she got kind of put in her place. Not even by Shima necessarily, but the car ride home with the friend where he was like, "Your test grades are bad because you suck."
yeah.
Chris is a
I was just gonna
bro.
mention that.
I love him.
So yeah,
Yeah, fun show.
yeah, it's so warm, and I like the growing relationship between everybody, uh, which helps. Like you're watching a group of friends kind of gel together and grow as people in realistic ways as well.
That's what I
Not
loved about Kimi ni Todoke, and that's why I compared this show to that right off the bat. Because, like, yeah, there was romance in it, but the best part of that show was watching like the girlfriend group just like have each other's backs and hang out. I loved that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like when the glasses girl talked about the blonde girl's painting
Yeah.
and how much she liked it in front of
It's
her
so cute.
friends.
I love them.
Yeah, because it was like she's trying to show that she can grow as a person, and her friends, it's okay to sort of go out of your comfort zone and talk to people that you may be judging based off of their looks and things like that, like kind of doing her a solid and reversing kind of what they did at the movie theater and things. And I'm like, oh, this is so cute, and uh something you could see somewhat happening in real life. Like it's not a grandiose gesture, which some can be off-putting. It was just she saw that her friends were kind of skeptical of the blonde girl, and then she proceeded to talk about the painting, and oh, she reads all the books I give her all the time, and we talk about them, like really trying to create a connection between her old friend group and her new friend group in a way that sort of meant something in their small slice of the world. So I like that. And I've said it before, but I will reiterate. I like how people just talk their problems out.
Mitsumi's such a good character for that reason, where anytime she's got some sort of conflict going on in her head, she's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to talk about it.
I'm
That's
gonna
such a
anteater.
cool thing to do.
Anteater, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna anteater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very like country girl style thing to do as well, because the Japanese stereotype is the people from places like that speak their mind and don't really get the whole like dodging confrontation type thing that all of the people who grow up in the city normally have to battle with. So her coming in with this fresh perspective and not really being tainted by the outside world yet is like, you know what? This is how I am used to doing it. This is how I'm going to do it here, even if people think that that is wrong. And it works for her because that's maturity.
Especially with Shima, who never speaks his mind, never lets anyone in on, what he's actually feeling, tries to play this perfect role of everyone's friend. So that's why she is exactly what he needs.
Yeah, especially because it's played off like such a scarlet letter for him, where he feels like he's like punishing himself in a way by being a fake person in a lot of ways. And she is so unabashedly herself that it allows him to grow and not only start sharing, but then overcoming that like mental and emotional wall that he builds as like a punishment. And he does a lot of brave stuff, like telling the model girl off and then being okay that she was still mad. Like I thought that was really big too. He's just flat out like, I want forgiveness, and then when she reacts the way she does, he's just like, thank you or whatever. Like he doesn't then immediately recoil back into his old self once that conversation obviously didn't go the way he wanted it to go. So yeah, everybody just talks, and not in a confrontational, reality TV antagonism way. It's fantastic. So yeah, I'm glad everybody likes it.
Yeah, I want more.
Indeed. Emily was disappointed that at the end of the season, she was like, wait, it's over? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, and
I don't think we have any.
I don't think we're going to get another one because PA Works doesn't normally do that.
It doesn't seem like the kind of show that would get another season anyway.
Yeah, there's just so much room to go, I feel, because it kind of just like ends.
Yeah.
Kinda. Yeah. I would certainly want more. Can we read the manga over here?
I don't think there's a localization of it yet. It might be
there's
like
definitely
on
some
a digital distributor site. I'm not really sure.
Definitely licensed. Let me see. Yeah.
Seven
so
Seas.
7 Seas. Yep.
Hey, the saviors of the Yuri genre.
Seven Seas is the saviors of a lot of things. They're good.
They were like the people who started publishing Yuri manga like this decade, and other people followed suit because it was, I guess, selling to me. I'm buying it all. But they were like the first ones to start doing that shit. They just picked up all of the Yuri series.
Yeah, all the volumes that are out in Japan will be out in the US in the next few months.
Rad.
7 volumes out now.
Good.
Is it still going?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think Himini Todoke is still going too, and that's fucking like 800 years old at this point.
If you're wondering why this feels different from other shoujo manga, it's because it's not a shoujo manga. It is in a seinen magazine.
Yeah, it's labeled that. I don't buy that.
That doesn't really mean much of anything. There's a lot of things that run in technically seinen magazines, and yeah, they don't really. That's like the catch-all. Like, we don't know what to categorize this as, so it's going to run in this magazine kind of situation.
It is a high school romance featuring a strong female lead. It's a shoujo series.
Not really what that means. if it is meant for people of a certain age and gender, then that is what a demographic is.
It is a seinen because everybody is reasonable.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if it is written to appeal to a male audience around like 18, then it's seinen. Doesn't matter what the content is.
I don't think that is what the demographic they're going for is, at least judging by the what's the word? Drawing a blank. I don't think that it's aimed at adult men. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it seems very young girl centric because it's always girl who doesn't fit in and really handsome guy and a close knit group of friends in a scenario and setting that they can relate to. Like this is a shoujo series.
if it wasn't aimed at that demographic, it wouldn't be published in the magazine for that demographic. The other way around would make more sense because
what magazine is it run in?
Monthly Afternoon.
Okay,
that sounds like a shoujo magazine.
What else runs in Monthly Afternoon?
Stuff like Blade of the Immortal and Genshiken. Other shoujo hits.
I don't know either of those.
Mushishi.
Land of the
know that one.
Lustrous.
Blue Period.
This doesn't fit in with any of
Heavenly
those.
Delusion. I'm not saying
This is so different from all of them.
Not a shoujo manga.
They ran Gunsmith Cats and Oh My
Vinland
Goddess.
Saga.
Vinland Saga.
One of these shows
Land
doesn't
of the
fit, guys.
Immortal.
Which one is it?
Blam. And Yokohama Kadashi Kiko.
Yeah, so point is, genre is not demographic. It is meant for preferred demographic.
They ran Eden, It's an Endless World, and Shadow Star. Oh, God.
Maybe
that
the
magazine
manga
has run everything. Full gamut.
Maybe the manga gets really dark once Mitsumi gets involved in Tokyo politics.
That'd be rad. All right. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
If we're done.
I was just going to say, the point is, when you are publishing a shoujo manga and a shoujo magazine, there are certain expectations about how it plays out and the tropes that you are expected to fall back on and provide to that audience. And the fact that you are not seeing those in this property is correlated to the fact that that is not the demographic and not the magazine that it runs in.
Well, I would have put it in the girl magazine. I think they'd like it more. We have any further thoughts on Skip and Loafer, though?
No.
I don't think Shima's all that good looking.
No, he's kind of a weird looking boy.
His face is droopy. Like it's like he's an action figure that was left in a car.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Oshinoko. The show that the people are talking about that I have come around to because I was conflicted after episode 1 and what followed got rid of all the things that I didn't like about it. So cool.
Nice. Well,
yeah, I mean,
remind me what you didn't like about it.
I didn't like the dancing babies. I didn't like the talking babies. I don't like babies. And I didn't like just how detached from reality everything in the show was, except for the really real parts. It was just that stark contrast between what's actually happening and baby world that I could not get a grip on, and it made me feel weird. And baby world's gone. We have actual teenage characters now who both kind of suck. I don't like Aqua or Ruby, but the side characters in this show are really good. And I feel like Kana and Akane are carrying it, but they're carrying it so well that I look forward to watching it every single week, and I can no longer look forward to watching it because it is done for now. I, as a romance enjoyer, really like how hard it is leaning on the romance aspect of the show. I didn't expect it to go in that direction. And it's a little break from just pure revenge story, which is another thing that I don't really care for. I just really like the characters. I really like the art. And I think it is well animated and well scripted. And it's just a nice show.
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting. I was just going to say that I think it's funny because I feel like I enjoy the show for the almost the complete opposite aspects.
I feel like a lot of people do. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it like sloped down on people's lists for the reasons that it went up on mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't mind the romance aspect because I do think like Kana is like a very good character, but I feel like the last few episodes that were more focused on the romance kind of started to like wane my interest a bit because
Yeah.
I'm just like I want more industry drama and like
Yes.
insider info. But no, I still very much enjoyed it up to this point too. So like it's not even like I dislike that stuff because the whole segment with Pion or whatever his name is
Yaon.
yeah, I love those bits, even when it was Aqua Pion. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting that you flipped on the show, but for like the opposite reasons that I
Oh
would.
yeah, and I fully expected that as well.
Right.
Like it went closer toward what I wanted and expected it to be.
Yeah. I can agree that Baby World was kind of weird, but like
Fucking hated it. Oh my god.
As baby, 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to, before Kestrel takes the stage really quick, I just the one moment in the middle of the series where Akane does her little eye impression, that shit was fucking good. That was a good moment, and that was like what revamped or made me reevaluate how I looked at the show. It was just that one frame where she just became another character. I was like, oh fuck, okay, I'm in.
yeah.
Perfect 2-week cliffhanger.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. They do a really good job with fading in the ending theme too. They always have some really good note to end that on, and
Oh, yeah,
then you hear that start playing. You're like, oh yeah, it's good.
You know what this show does well? The canines and the teeth. All got really pronounced canines, and I'm all about it.
Babies, thumbs down. Canines, thumbs up.
Hell yeah. Oh, give me more.
It's funny because well, it's almost nice now that you missed the last episode because that was mainly us focusing on the reality TV drama and its real life implications. Whereas like this last like 4-ish episodes, you're just like,
Was Kane on that episode?
Huh?
Was Kane on the episode that you're talking about, the last one?
Yeah, and I told him it was the Terrace House thing. Yeah.
Okay, you were. I wasn't sure if Terrace House was brought up because they were on Terrace House, which was cool.
Yeah, it was brought up just briefly because you weren't here, so then it stopped us from going into a 30-minute tirade about Terrace House.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just Terrace House inside the anime, which is cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, more importantly, it was almost a 1-to-1 replica of the actual tragedy that ended Terrace House.
Yep. Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
And that was like a ballsy move putting that in this show because that is very recent.
Well, we were talking about it last week and I looked it up as we were recording and it was like weeks after it happened in real life that he published that chapter.
That is a ballsy move.
Yeah, so that's kind of wild. I haven't read any of the manga. I wonder if they like played up the parallels a little bit more in the anime because like, you know, all of these things individually can be, you know, taken as just general things that happen and it's horrible if they happen over and over again. And it does not end in tragedy in this case. So it is not exactly the same, but the way that they all converge and how they play out, it does seem 99% like it had to be intentional.
Absolutely.
So the fact that it was weeks after in the manga is wild. Yeah. I think I'm more with Bran about the romance aspect. It's definitely one of the things that I enjoy less about the series. But yeah, I agree that there aren't really bad aspects about the series. The characters are all great. I think Aqua is actually one of the best characters. I think Ruby hasn't had a chance to do anything interesting yet. Kana definitely, like, you can tell that everyone on the staff loves Kana, and Akasaka, like, realized after a few chapters that this was his best character and just poured everything into her.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, she definitely gets to shine all the time, and Ruby doesn't get to be a protagonist because Kana's too great. But whatever, Kana's just so good.
Weird.
Yeah, and all the content around her is so good that I can't be mad about it.
She's always reading a book like about fucking lizards or something, where it's just such a minor detail, but I'm like, you just capture my heart because you're just on the couch reading a book about lizard facts. Like, these are character details that I need.
Yeah, so lizard facts, not my most endearing quality about Kana, but
She's
boy,
so complex and layered, and it's just such an interesting approach to like the former child star character, where you like get to see the full like evolution of her idea of how the industry works, and contrast that with Aqua's, which is, I think, why I like the idea of them together so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially in the recent episodes, like these last few episodes, they're not my favorites. The idol stuff, Memcho and Ruby, none of that really hits as hard for me. So Kana has absolutely been carrying it throughout this arc, and just the inferiority complex and imposter syndrome and self-deprecation and cynicism, all of that is just like, a mirror image, everything that I experience on a day-to-day basis, put through the lens of someone in the public eye who's been in this industry their entire life, how much that can be magnified and warped by that public perception. And people actually caring about you and actually talking shit about you instead of it just being in your head, how much more that can impact having those kind of neuroses and insecurities in the first place. So that's all just utterly fascinating. And, she gets, because of her experience, she gets to be like the mouthpiece, the commentator on all of these themes that Akasaka is exploring about the entertainment industry. Anything that he's like, all right, in case you didn't get it enough from the context, I can just have this character explain it to you because she's been through it and the other people in her life haven't, and they're trying to enter the entertainment industry, so they need a veteran to be like, here's what actually happens. And so that just gives him the platform to be able to have her exposit without it feeling too unnatural. So,
especially since she's in the absence of I, she's become the window into that industry perspective, which I really like that we got to keep that, while at the same time, and spoiler alert for Oshinoko episode 1, killing off the initial window into that.
It is interesting that, like we said, she's taken the main like focus of like most of the characters besides Aqua, but I feel like that it does leave room for Ruby to kind of like go through that from like the new to the industry perspective. So I feel like there's like still a lot for her to experience and be like kicked down a peg on, like, this entertainment business stuff's not all like fun and dancing and laughs. Like, she's probably gonna get hit with a big dose of reality soon.
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of it's gonna come in the form of comparisons to which will get to her in some level. And I feel like in the second season, at least, I expect her to take more of a forefront, or take more of the stage, as opposed to Aqua, who received most of the spotlight in this season.
Yeah. I was just surprised that, we've got this full season under our belts now. We've been through many different arcs with many different focuses in that time, and none of them really gave Ruby her time as the protagonist. Even this last one, where Aqua was barely there at all, and just like, oh, actually Kana's way more interesting, so let's just focus on Ruby stuff.
I'm cool with that, though, because Kaguya did that for a while too, where it just like focused on the side characters for their own arcs, and I like that because it not only extends the story, but gives us a better glimpse into the people that inhabit the world apart from the protagonists.
Yeah.
Who are, at least in my opinion, more interesting than the protagonists at this point. And yeah, we've had nothing with Ruby, but even Aqua, I'm not super fond of yet because, yeah, he's cynical and is jaded by what he experienced as a child of not being a child. But it just feels like he is blindly chasing revenge most of the time, and it hasn't really hit me that it is like actually important to him yet. It just feels like a thing that he's doing because he feels like he has to. And I hope that changes because I feel like he has the foundation of being a character that really resonates with me, but it just hasn't really gotten to that level yet.
I'm glad. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, every time it feels like Aqua's about to like take a step forward and be like, oh, you know what, maybe I do enjoy acting, or like, you know what, maybe I can like give something to this industry instead of just looking at it from the toxic lens. But every time like he has like a moment like that, an episode or two later, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to get revenge." Like literally in the last episode, he's like, "Yep," and all of this is because I want revenge. And it's like, but it doesn't feel like it.
Well, you have to end the season on there so that you remember what the plot apparently was.
That's true.
But I'm glad that it's usually in the periphery. Like, you know, arcs will begin and end with Aqua being like, and yes, this is for revenge. But everything in between, like, none of that matters. It's all just window dressing. Then you get into the actual plot of the arc and the character drama and the industry commentary. And that's all fascinating. And he plays his role within that as, you know, an actual great actor who's passionate about it, even if he tells himself that he doesn't care and he's not talented. So I think his role in the series, outside of those little points where he's trying to convince us what the plot of the series actually is, are all really great.
I agree.
I also really appreciate. I don't think I mentioned this last week or last episode. I must have forgotten to, but I really appreciated that they acknowledge what would actually happen if your consciousness was put into a body of someone younger and developing, and that hormones are like physical chemical reactions that have an effect on how you think and feel, and that he actually acknowledges that yes, his teenage body has an effect on the way that he feels and emotes and goes through life now, and that, you know, as a baby it was really hard for him to like have long-term memories and things like that. I never ever see that brought up in any of these reincarnation stories, and it's always a thing that I'm like, wouldn't it work this way though? And they just laid it out exactly like that, and now it makes total sense in this context.
I feel like Akasaka also felt that way after reading similar material and made it a point to address that in his take on it.
Yeah. It does make me wonder how much more their previous lives will come into play, because we still haven't acknowledged the fact that like they make the references where Ruby, I forgot what her original name is, but she's like, oh, I wonder what Sensei's up to nowadays and stuff like that. I hate
that they haven't figured that out by now, because it was like almost figured out at several points early on, and now it's just like not even a thing anymore.
It's one of those things I thought it either needed to be figured out while they were babies still, and it was like a fresh thing, or like it's going to happen at the very end of the series.
Yeah.
How have they not talked about this? Because it's very evident early on that they're both fucking weird and that they have memories from a previous life, but neither of them ever thought to share any details of that life. Why?
Yeah. But yeah, that's another thing, like the revenge plot, even more so, where it's like, the fact they got reincarnated doesn't really have any bearing on anything that happens after the first episode. Like, it's an important establishing plot line that gets them to this point, starting at like episode 2, but it doesn't really matter past that point, especially for Ruby, because like she's already older in this body than she ever was in her past life, and she never really lived in her past life anyway. So, you know, she's basically just a normal 16-year-old girl now. So, yeah, you know, most of that stuff, who cares?
Yeah, I think the only thing that could really come back into play is like the person who murdered Aqua's original body or something. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something still in play with
Well, that
his
guy
involvement
died.
with
Yeah,
Ai's
it's just
death.
guy.
What was it?
It was
It's
the
the
same
same-
guy who killed Aqua, and then he killed himself after I died.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So he ain't
Well-
coming back unless he got reincarnated as well,
Wait a second.
which would be fucking crazy.
Imagine we get like an arc where they show the murderer as a baby and then his whole
Yep.
growth. Oh my god.
Oh, I also just shout out to the mother figure character who I don't know the name of because she's great.
Yeah.
And I like that
Yako,
she
is that
has
right?
evolved into an actual mom.
Yeah, totally. She's awesome. She's like fourth or fifth best character in the show.
Yeah.
It's just weird that she got gaslit into being a mom
Yes.
by two talking babies, which is a part of the show I will once again acknowledge.
That is like the only part of the show that's ever like outside of them they've acknowledged someone else that they were like sentient as
Right.
babies.
I wonder if they ever talk about that, like in their current age. Like, hey, remember
Mhm.
when you were like little god messengers and shit like that? Weird, right?
I mean, maybe she just still believes that at that moment a god was talking through them or something.
Maybe. I don't know. It feels like a thing that she would mention.
It does feel like a thing that would come up when you raise these children for 10 plus years.
Okay. Anything else we have to say about Oshinoko?
No.
Idol is really good. The song. And the whole opening sequence. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
No? Alright.
All right.
All right.
Well, it sounds like that just about covers that. Considering our running time at the moment, is there anything else that anybody wanted to talk about, or can we go into recommendations and such?
I will I will cite one other thing from this show or this season as my recommendation for this episode and kill two birds with one stone because didn't have time to talk about it and there's still an episode left. But it's my second place show of the season, and that is Insomniacs After School. Really nostalgic feeling, warm high school romance melodrama, which is checking all of my boxes. And it's just such a pretty show that I feel like really encapsulates first love very well. And it's just, I don't know, it takes me back, I guess you can say, and I relate to it a lot. And it's nice being able to relive some of those feelings in that show. So that's my recommendation, and also my number 2 of the season.
Nice. Yeah, so let's see. This might be a first time ever that I have 2 different video game recommendations, 2 episodes in a row.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 16 is out, and it is very good. I have not played that much of it. I played a few hours when it came out, and that you get a good taste of a lot of different aspects of it in the first few hours. So, if I haven't played any Final Fantasy 14 because I don't play MMOs, but it is the team behind that. If you like that kind of style more, it's much more on the kind of adult, grounded, medieval fantasy, no science fiction. As opposed to like the Tetsuya Nomura kind of very anime, science fiction, super high detail of the Final Fantasy 7, 13, that kind of stuff. So
Heavily inspired by Game of Thrones to the point where they crib, straight up just crib a bunch of stuff from Game of Thrones, but then it's got chocobos and crystals.
Yes, it is. It is Game of Thrones with chocobos. That is accurate. It is.
And somebody in the first hour of the game is all like, So like I don't give a Moogle's fart about something. I'm like, this is the weirdest goddamn thing. And Ralph Innes is like voicing one. It's just weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird vibe. This game has a very strange vibe.
It is 99% a very grounded, very serious, very adult kind of interactive Game of Thrones experience. But it also has chocobos and Moogles and shit. Because you have to, because you're contractually obligated to get that kind of Square Enix budget.
And a guy named Sid who is too damn fucking hot.
Of course. Yeah, he's super cool. So yeah, that game is very good. If you're into that sort of thing, it is, very action RPG, no turn-based elements remaining.
Barely any RPG elements remaining.
Yeah, it's not as RPG as it could be for sure. But it's a fun action game. I'm playing story mode because I'm bad at video games and like to have fun. So yeah, it's good.
I am not playing story mode. Not playing story mode is still super forgiving because they checkpoint you in the middle of fights and give you all your healing potions back.
Oh wow.
Which is very odd. So
hooray for forgiving games. I was worried because, I don't know, some people were making Dark Souls comparisons about something. I was like, better fucking not be.
That is very not Dark Souls whatsoever.
Yeah. Right, yeah. In terms of difficulty, not even.
Has a bit of a medieval fantasy vibe. Oh, it's the Dark Souls of Final Fantasy games.
That's probably it, yeah. It's From Software? That's who makes Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
I get them mixed up with Platinum Games. Platinum Games worked on this.
Pretty different.
Yeah.
I think Platinum was Nier, right?
Yeah. Well, Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Yar.
Anyway, so that's that. Anime recommendations. The first core of Spy Family is out on Blu-ray. So definitely recommend that series. Also, speaking of Akasaka, you can now buy all 3 seasons of Kaguya-sama Love is War on Blu-ray in the US. They all have nice collector's edition sets out. I have all 3 of those now. Also, Haikyuu, the long-awaited limited edition for the full To the Top season, both cores of that, is out now. Those are all real nice boxes that Sentai puts out for that series. You can also get the standard edition of the second season of Made in Abyss, but I will be waiting for the limited edition of that one. And I think the only other thing I have is if you like nature documentaries narrated by 97-year-old legend David Attenborough, there is a sequel to Our Planet out on Netflix now, which is awesome, unless you want the guaranteed resolution and lack of quality degradation that would come with a physical release, because it will never get one.
Well, is it just called Our Planet 2?
It is, of course, Our Planet 2. Yeah.
Attenborough is 97?
Yes.
Holy shit. Oh, goddamn. Definitely gonna watch that. My anime recommendation, strangely enough, has not been on my list for this season, but that's because I failed to pick it back up because it was going through COVID delays and stuff, and then I never got back caught up to it. But Golden Kamui, lovely show. It would probably be near the top for me because it's always funny and interesting, and the characters are insane. Yeah, I think the final movie just got announced or something, so definitely worth catching up on if you want to see the end of that, which is coming soon. Yeah.
I have a different video game / computer game recommendation. A game just came out today called Dave the Diver. It is as if Subnautica and Cook Serve Delicious had a baby, but it's also gorgeous pixel art and strangely very anime feeling, even though it's not anime pixel art. But there's definitely a vibe there. I've only played 2 hours of it, but it's fucking fantastic. And and everybody should check it out.
I saw someone playing that.
Yeah, I saw that when it was coming out, and I'm like, this looks fun.
It's incredibly polished, and it's kind of super cool. So if you want to catch fish and then run a sushi restaurant, and then go out and catch more fish, and then go back and manage more sushi restaurant, and then there's all this other stuff and all these mini games and these people calling you up. The guy who is the arms dealer, because they're like, no, you need to be armed going down in that water. Oh, it's crazy, and this is all like the first like hour of the game. I'm like, what is going on? This is amazing.
We've had a nice little run of fishing games that aren't everything they appear to be.
Yeah, Dredge was cool. This is also very, very, very cool. Yeah, so check that out.
How does the official VR fishing spin-off of the last main series Final Fantasy game compare?
What? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh god.
There is an official VR Final Fantasy 15 fishing game.
Ugh, I didn't play 15.
I didn't either. I waited 10 years and bought it and didn't play it.
All right.
I think I have 2 recommendations. Anime is I finally started watching Monster on Netflix, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
watch
Oh shit,
that.
they put it on there?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately, like it's not like remaster or anything, so it's 4:3.
Well,
And-
it should be 4:3. The problem is that it's 480p.
Yeah, say it's 4:3. Well,
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's 480p, and it's Netflix's 480p.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew.
Worse than
43
normal
with a
480p.
bit rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse than if you had a DVD of it.
Yes.
But it's still fantastic, and it's the only way to watch it at the moment. So you know, do your thing there. And then I'm still playing a shitload of Street Fighter 6.
Have you beat World Tour mode?
Yeah, I just do ranked online mode now.
Nice.
The World Tour mode is great though, and this is by far the most player friendly Street Fighter to ever be released, which is why it has way more players already, I think, online at its peak than Street Fighter V ever did. And I think it's EVO, which is the biggest game tournament in the world, I believe, if not at least the United States. Street Fighter 6's entries for that have broken records of any other Street Fighter game ever, and this game has only been out for like a month.
Yeah, Evo's gonna be crazy. I'm pretty sure the cash pool prizes for Street Fighter 6 are also like record breaking amounts of money.
Yeah, it's intense.
You gonna win it, Kane?
Oh, 100%. Me and my shitty Ken Masters at iron level. Yeah, that's fine. I'll win.
The element of surprise. They'll never see this Iron player coming.
Yeah, they'll never see a guy who can't do anti-air.
They call you Iron Fist Kane.
Yeah. That's
But
a
yeah,
good one.
it's probably one of the best fighting games to ever buy if you're like trying to get into it or just want one that's fun to play, because it has a really good single player mode, and it has multiple control schemes that make it, you know, easier or harder to do all the inputs, so you can kind of work your way up while not feeling like you're just going to get stomped all the time because you can't perfectly input the controls. Like it's very inviting while also still providing like good challenge and interesting gameplay. They didn't dumb it down too much, except one mode that you can't use online where I think it's the stick and then one button and AI does the rest.
I do like that they call it modern mode instead of like easy mode or something.
Yeah, that is a very good thing they did, so then people can feel a little more comfortable using it than if you called it like baby's first fighting game.
That's the same thing with Final Fantasy. Easy mode is called story mode.
Yeah.
Nice euphemisms.
Yep, that's it for me.
Cool.
Ooh,
All right.
everybody.
We're gonna wrap this up
Indeed.
as we all fall asleep. And push 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right.
We even started early today.
I know. I'm gonna finish on time.
Just as planned.
Yeah, Castro, where can you find us?
You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Alexa, Amazon, whatever, fandompost.com. We are on social media. Everyone says that Twitter's going away, but everyone still uses Twitter for everything. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Fandom Post Radio. Follow us, subscribe, whatever you do on there. Share our stuff, get in contact with us. Also get in contact with us via email, fandompostradio@gmail.com. And I'm on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma. I write reviews on the Fandom Post. I gotta write my final Oshinoko review right after this. And I guess I'll mention, since we were just talking about Monster coming on Netflix 6 months ago, there's another Naoki Urasawa anime adaptation coming to Netflix, and I'm going to be talking to Masao Maruyama, who is the founder and head of Madhouse, MAPPA, and Studio M2, which is adapting Pluto. So I will be interviewing him at AX about Pluto, so you can find that published probably in the next week or so.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah.
I keep forgetting about the Pluto thing.
Yep, I got to watch the first 2 episodes.
Oh, jealous.
Yep.
Oh,
Damn.
all
I
right.
still can't believe it's real.
I didn't believe it was real until I spent 2 hours watching it, and it is real.
Oh my god.
You heard it here first. It's real, people.
Sure.
Pluto is real. Maybe we'll actually get to see the whole thing this time, unlike the Monster adaptation.
I mean, it's Netflix, so you're going to get all at once, so yeah.
Mhm.
That's fine. You can find me at Hellshake Brando on most of the socials, and for the Fandom Post, I will be wrapping up my reviews of Mashal. The manga will be coming to an end on Monday, so
Oh, wow.
Wow.
right around when this episode comes out will probably be my final review after about 3 years of running it. So, yeah, sad, but also, you know what? Some things need to just come to an end.
You can find me on Twitter at DJ No Style. You can find my game at lessonsandlovegame.com. I just broke 2 million words.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus.
I set a personal record yesterday when I wrote 12,000 words. So,
In a day.
life is busy. I don't
Yeah.
sleep anymore.
Oh, guy.
You broke the words record and decided, let's write even more words.
Yeah.
I am going back to work as soon as we are done recording.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Dude.
That's why I
is
had
this
to record earlier.
Jesus Christ.
Mm.
I like how I had to end my workday that has an actual schedule to accommodate DJ's made-up work schedule.
Yeah, seriously.
No, you'd be ending it early for me.
Well, I end at 5 p.m. every day. That's a regular work schedule for people with normal jobs.
Is it? I don't
It
remember
is.
how that works.
Oh, look at this guy. Is Lessons in Love like the longest work of fiction now?
Well,
No.
it depends on if you count Wheel of Time as like one work of fiction, because
Okay.
that is much longer if you combine it all.
So still working on it is the answer.
There's a lot. There are more. Yeah, there are some things that never end.
Yeah, there's I think a Smash Brothers fan fiction that is also longer than 2 million words.
Hey,
I think it's
no
like 2.5
way.
or some shit.
Yeah,
Amazing.
there are some fan fiction stories out there that are like, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll get there though because I've got like 7 years left of this game. So
Oh my god, who's got the time?
Yeah, you've hit 2 million
time for
words in
this.
what, 3 years?
3 years, yeah, 3 years and 3 months.
Yeah.
Running a whole MMO himself, but it's not an MMO. You can find me on the internet, mostly on Fandom Post and around the internet and other places. I think I own this name on most things. Yeah, I finished up my reviews of Vinland Saga Season 2 and Dr. Stone is on hiatus until fall, so caught up with that. I have not picked up a show for the summer season yet, if at all. Well, but I'm reviewing other things. I'm catching up on all my written reviews, so please go read those.
And as always, you can only find me here.
That's right.
Exclusive.
We have his rights in perpetuity. We'll be replacing him with an AI Kane next episode.
This is true. This is true. They have me shackled to this podcast.
I feel like the technology is not there to replicate Kane. Yeah, quite yet.
The opinions can't be made as bad.
We're not ready.
Not hot enough takes.
We're not prepared.
The AI exploded when we tried to show it Birdie Wing. It doesn't live up.
All
All right. Well, yeah. As always, thank you everyone for listening, and we will talk to you next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.